He didn't know dick. I never saw that fucking moron before in my life. I was at a fucking hotel in Miami, and some people said, "Do you want to come play basketball?" Jose Canseco's having a party. And I went over there, and he wasn't there. Some fucking dude, his friend had a party. A bunch of people there playing basketball, and I was there for maybe an hour when I fucking left. That was it. But it was funny. That's how I started torturing him. I was at your house that night till 5 in the morning. Remember? Over by the beach. Remember that? And once I was breaking his house down for him. I was like Alfred fucking Hitchcock. I couldn't get away with him, and he fucking kept looking at me and turning away. And I kept tormenting him little by little. And at the same time, the audience people are like, get him the fuck out of here. The audience people are like, fuck you, Canseco, fuck you. And right then in the middle of all this, you walk up. And he go, what's going on? And I go, this fucking mutt. And he heard it. He heard it, the poor bastard that he is. He showed up with his daughter with a miniskirt on. Do you remember she had like a fucking miniskirt and he had the chick with him?
Yeah.
And by this point, people were starting to throw little things at him. And finally security saw it and came and pulled him out. That's what saved him.
By people, do you mean you?
No, I was right. He would kill me. He would beat the fuck out of me. He was right in front of me. Then I put Eddie Bravo on him to torture him, to tell him he needed to learn jiu-jitsu. Don't be talking to me. You need to talk to him. You want to fight people. You need to learn jiu-jitsu. Now I had him all fucked up. He was in bankruptcy court. You know what I'm saying? And then I got my hands on him. I was tormenting him, that poor bastard. He had no idea. He
wrote that book. He's due a little bit.
Yeah, that's it. He's due. You got to torment him. You have to torment him. He sold his soul. Once you sell your soul. And the funny thing is, he's got like 8 million people on Twitter following him.
Yeah.
Like, he's a walking business, and he's a fucking moron.
Yeah, man. I mean, hey, you know what? We all have, skeletons in our closet.
Oh, please.
If you want to go ahead and, you want to sell your business, you do it. You don't throw everybody else down with it, you know what I mean?
No, he'll never. And even like Sammy the Bugavano could come out and he'll get a medal. But this guy, I don't know, he did something that people really fucking got pissed off at him about, which is like fuck with baseball.
Yeah. And then also too, like, just, this kind of man law, you know what I mean? Like, you go out a bunch of guys, I don't give a shit, everybody's on their own, If one of my buddies, his wife calls my wife and goes, hey, did you know? And then my wife looks at me and goes, do you know? I'm like, I don't know anything. She knows I'm not going to know
What's
anything.
the motto of the show, Lee? I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing. I don't want to know nothing. I wasn't there. I don't even know what you're talking to me.
The only person you got to worry about is me.
Because I don't know what you're talking about. I really don't know what people come up to me and ask me questions. What's this guy's phone? I don't know what you're talking about. I don't phone numbers. I don't.
Yeah, right.
And they look at you all weird. My wife always goes, how do you do that? I was raised in a home where they, mira oye calla, number one. Whatever happens in here, nobody knows fucking nothing. And you don't know nothing. I remember hanging out with kids, and they'd be talking about drugs or something. And I used to go to my mom's bar, and I'd see people smoke pot. I could never rat on them. I would never say anything about marijuana. They go, you ever see anybody smoking pot? Me? Never. I don't know nothing.
I grew up in a very different part of the East Coast than you, because, I grew up in a town where, speaking of cigars, I was at a cigar place with my friends in high school once after we turned 18.
And what happened?
A mom drove by, saw me, and by the time I got home, my mom knew about it.
That you were smoking cigars?
Mm-hmm.
And what'd she do to you?
No, she didn't do anything, but she had that comment, and I got mad. I'm like, why are people driving around this town? It's weird. Like, you have a small town, so in a way, you have kind of the same thing. They just don't tell, I guess. It's still gossipy, I would have imagined. Like North Bergen.
Well, it's small but big, and what kills me about where I'm from, it's that it's supposed to be like an East Coast town. But they're like fucking rednecks in a way. You know what I'm saying? They're like, the mentality is like very stay in town and get a job and whatever. So, not that they broke my balls growing up and nothing, I'm just saying, play some music and start this motherfucker off the right way.
Absolutely.
Kick that fucking horse, Lee. Kick it. Kick it, Lee. Kick that fucking horse, Lee. Monday night, April 28th. You bad motherfuckers. The devil was buried at sea. Oh shit. Oh shit. I ain't gonna sit here and tell you I did backflips for Prince, and you know me, dog. I tell you how it is. Listen to this song. This is a bad motherfucker. You understand me? Before you put R.I.P. Twitter Prince on your Twitter, put a purple shirt on and get your dick sucked. You know what I'm saying? Fuck it. There you go, Frank Mir, motherfucker. What? Hit it.
Actually, I got to go to one of his concerts before.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
It was a couple years back. My wife, a friend of ours, got us tickets. She's a big fan. And I like Prince, but I wasn't as, into it as she was. And she knew all the history, Purple Rain, the whole video. And it's funny because, she's like, he's a sexy guy. I'm like, really, babe? He's like 5'2", fucking 120 pounds soaking wet. What's this whole sexy thing? He's not a... And we're sitting there and we're like, 2 rows back, and all of a sudden, he's singing, he's dancing on stage, all live band. And like, he looks over and we make eye contact for a second, And I'm like, I get it. Because I think I crossed over to the side there for about a split second. I was questioning my sexuality for a little bit. I was like, oh, okay. Oh, that's what you're talking about.
He's bad to the bone. Rest in peace, man. Holy shit. That's crazy. What's up, Lisa? You're sitting there all mumble-dumble. You're stuttering through the fucking intro. What happened?
No, it's 7:25. I'm doing good.
Did you eat the fucking Cuban sandwich I brought you?
I didn't know there was a sandwich. I had
stood
a couple
in line
of
for
balls.
40 fucking minutes. You understand me? 40 fucking minutes at Porto's. It is a fucking nightmare.
You don't even get to enjoy one.
No, I brought him pastel de guayaba. I don't fuck around.
Thank you, Joe.
That's good stuff, man. This flatbread precious is awesome.
Thank you,
We
Joe.
don't fuck around, dog. A little something for a little energy for late night.
That's
you
really
stop.
We got a long car ride home, man.
Listen, on the way home, you hook a right over here.
Okay.
And you stay on the street, and you stay on all the way down. Don't fucking make a move.
Okay.
And you hit a nice Starbucks like a professional. Better yet, there's a Starbucks. That's the shit that there's a 7-Eleven. That's the shit ISIS drinks.
Yeah.
Fuck Starbucks. You want to be out at night.
Yeah.
You're making a
He
long
drinks
hit.
the right way. It's black coffee.
Yeah, bold. Brazilian bold from
Yeah.
fucking Starbucks. That'll
Keep you
put
up.
Somehow,
Not
Joe.
like cafecito, but it'll keep you
No, that shit will fucking kill you. You ever go to Miami International Airport when you're flying out? Look at Starbucks.
dead.
There's dead.
Nobody's there.
You got to be a moron to go. Like a Canadian goes in there, because right down they have like a Versailles or something,
Versailles.
and for $150 they give you the fucking super duper cup.
Yep.
Now anybody that knows, like if you have a heart condition, you break that into 4s. When you go to Miami, like the old school, listen, when you're driving on whatever the fuck it is, and you see those corner bodegas, and you see 4 Cubans, 5 Cubans, and a woman talking, pull up, and they have the cup, and it's a $150, and 4 people will put a shot down each, and toast and everything, and they'll be sitting there all day doing these fucking blasts, smoking a cigar, drinking coffee. By the time 4 o'clock comes, Lee, their head's spinning. Do you understand? Your head's spinning. You're in a trance. You're in a coffee with a fucking cigar all day.
Is it like a high?
Oh my God, it just
Nice
takes
place.
you to a different zone. God forbid you throw a joint in there or one of those Cosby pills.
That's what I was telling you. I was there the last time we were there coming out of Miami. My wife's like, I'm gonna go over. We're getting through security, so she's gonna go get her, bottle of water, grab a little, some, snacks, whatever. I'm like, I'm gonna go get a coffee real quick, So the Versailles is right there. I'll grab you a sandwich. So we're sitting there, and that's when I was like, oh man, I'm gonna get a cordito. So that's why I told the girl, like, hey, I'm gonna buy 3 of them, but I need you to pour them all in 1 cup, because my wife's gonna tell me that if I drink too many of these, it's gonna hurt my heart. So you just hook it up. Don't put nothing on the outside of the cup and screw me over here, because I'll walk back over and she goes, how many shots are in there? I'm like, just 1. And then she looks at the cup, sees a 3 written on it. I'm like, no, charge me for 3, but put it in 1 cup. I was lit up on the plane.
Oh my God, you get lit up on the plane.
I look
And
like
they put the sugar already in it. And they squash it in there.
Yep, you grind
They
it.
put a
Make
little
good
bit
paste.
of milk, and they put like a little paste. Then they blast. The next time you go to Miami International, don't fuck around. Go up to the Cuban lady at the thing. Go, listen, give me 1 sandwich for here, but give me 3 to go. Don't cook them. And she'll give them to you to go. You put them in your bed. Nobody knows nothing. You take those motherfuckers home the next day. You put those in your oven at 350 for about 20. Wait till that shit
crispy.
gets brown. Wait till you smell something. Right before you dial 911, you take that fucking bread out. Bam! That's how you smuggle Cuban food out of Miami. You understand me? Just like that. Buffalo, New York was great. Thank you for coming to the fucking shows this weekend. I had a good time. Buffalo's an old school blue collar city. They will stab you there. Like you can tell. It gets really fucking cold. People don't fuck around. Ain't nobody gonna wrestle you there. It's a quick fucking hit in Buffalo. They hit you with a stick, a bottle.
Too cold to be fucking around, huh?
Too cold to be fucking around. You ain't going down on no mats there or nothing like that. Maybe inside, but outdoor, they will fucking stab you there. But it was fun. Helium is a great club. What's going on, Frank Mir? What's going on with you, my man? Everything all right in your world?
Yeah, we're out, letting people know about our Phone Booth Fighting podcast.
Oh,
Frank and I are doing
And you guys were on EBI last night.
Yeah, man, phenomenal show, man. Unbelievable. I'm so glad Eddie Bravo is doing what he's doing with that show, bringing back jiu-jitsu the way it should be, the way I started training it, looking for people to, to go for submissions, If it ain't going to break a bone or choke someone out, why are we bothering? Then it's a game, We're just playing grab ass on the ground, He does it the right way, motivating people, and people have tried to bring that back. Abu Dhabi had that, the no points for the first 10 minutes or 5 minutes, whatever, to call out points. Metamoris has been trying to do it. Okay, no points, but then guys still just stall because you get situations where you get, you get a world champ black belt in jiu-jitsu, like, hey man, if no one submits no one, they're gonna call it a draw. You get guys that they're decent, but now they're like, oh man, if I can go ahead and roll with like a Roger Gracie or a Buchecha or a Drysdale or somebody of this high level, they don't tap me, I can say I fought him to a draw. I'm like, yeah, you didn't fight him to a draw. You ran. And I like what Eddie's done with his show because you only get paid if you submit people. So you see guys, what I saw last night was everybody was hunting the whole time, looking to take something home with them, take someone out.
They're making stars in that thing too, like Gary Tonin. Yeah. We just had him on our Phone Booth Fighting podcast last week. This guy, I love this EBI stuff, And when I heard that they were going to start going to Fight Pass, which is where they are now, I was more excited about that than any UFC announcement I heard. Well, we've been talking about it, right?
He was geeking over it, big time. Because I've been burned out a little bit on jiu-jitsu the last couple of years, just because of all the points and the way the guys now, the system they play, and I say that all the time. I tell people, like, hey man, you still put the gi on? I'm like, the rule system for training that style and going there and doing tournaments doesn't apply anymore to fighting. It ain't like it was when I trained in 2000. When you get a guy who's a black belt jiu-jitsu, if he told you he was going to go do a fight in MMA, UFC, Pride, whatever, 2 or 3 fights in, he was dangerous, already. Now you got guys that can be world champions on the point system and they have a gimmick at how they play and they win. But then it's like, yeah, but that ain't going to work in a real fight. That it doesn't work in MMA. And it shows they're not making the transition over. You're not seeing world champions in IBJJ coming over and making a huge impact in the MMA world. But if you got guys right now, if you told me Gary Tonin or Eddie Cummins or even that kid right now, Gordon Ryan, if you told me he has a fight, I'm like, he's going to do well right off the bat. I have no doubt about it. Unless you match him up with a killer in the top 3 right now, that guy's going to be, I wouldn't put one of my guys against him. He's, that guy's, but the way they fight and the way their training system set up now, that's fighting. That'll immediately cross over to MMA. That's submissions. They're going and everything they're doing, even to get a takedown, isn't just to score points, but to get into a position so I can get to your neck, get into a position where I can take your arm. That's what jiu-jitsu was for me at the beginning. It's like, man, like Elio said, it's like having a gun with you at all times. I'm dangerous no matter what. In the shower, out of the shower, you're a black belt in that style of jiu-jitsu, submission styles of jiu-jitsu. That's a weapon.
It's so innovative, too. Like seeing Gary Tonin go to seated guard because you got that crazy leg lock game, and in your mind thinking, oh, shit, he just sat down. This is trouble for whoever's standing up. You know what I mean? How counterintuitive is that? If you saw 2 guys fighting and one sits down, how about the fact that you're thinking, holy shit, that guy just sat down. The guy that's standing up is fucked.
Better guard his feet, sprawl out, get out of there, and raise those ankles up and push them.
Now, what was the first martial art you joined was Kempo, correct?
Yeah, my dad, when he first came to the States, his parents, they first came to Miami, went to San Francisco, but he's the first, he learned English throughout high school, but his parents, aunts and uncles and my grandparents, they didn't speak English. So moving to Vegas was a good opportunity to get work in the casinos. You work in the back of the house, porters, housekeeping, my grandfather was a shoe shiner, here, in Vegas. Through tips, they could make a good living, And so they, signed him up to take a karate lesson. So he started doing Shotokan karate. And then really he got into the Ed Parker system of Kempo karate. Fell in love with it. Then, he's 20 years old, 19 years old, working at McDonald's, going to school, community, UNLV. And met my mom there. She was also, just, senior in high school. Job for the weekend, so then they start dating, and then my dad being the kind of guy he is, it's like, hey, what we can do together, let's let's go ahead and go down in the karate classes. So they started taking Kempo together. And, my mom's career got cut short a little bit because she got pregnant with me. And then by the time I came around, my dad was a black belt and owned his own gyms in Vegas, So I was that little brat running around, annoying the shit out of everybody until, I got big enough to jump on there and start training with people,
How cool is the Ed Parker system?
It's a great system, as far as it really carried over, and it's helped me so much in my mindset, especially if everybody watches how I do submissions, going from one to the other, and that combination of flowing of movement that came from how Kempo works, as far as I do this, then I go to this, and one movement flows into another, and I work off of what the other person's reactions are. So you don't have to seriously, people sit there and go, well, do you think 5 moves ahead? I'm like, that's not really the approach, because if you're sitting there thinking, you're using the part of your brain that's slow. You know what I mean? You're using your super ego. That part of I should be doing this, I should be doing that. That's too slow to be in the moment. To be in the hunt. What it is more like a feel. It's almost like when you go to shake someone's hand. Everybody kind of shakes hands a little bit different, but as you're going, you can feel the flow of the guy's energy, and your body has so many repetitions of knowing where to go. You go with it, and that's where training in the martial arts comes. And Kempo is very much that way too. I block the arm here, you guy pulls back, I know where my flow, where my read's going to go from there. And when I started learning jiu-jitsu, I think that's why I picked it up so fast. I only started jiu-jitsu when I was 19. Walked into a gym. I had always seen Royce Gracie, do UFCs. My dad, he told me from, day one when we first watched the UFC, he's all, you got to learn how to do this ground stuff, man. This is the future. That's, that's fighting. Look at that. We were, what would we do if someone grabbed us and took us down to the ground? We'd be in trouble, right? And so, so once I had that mindset that was established in Kempo, that very versatile mindset, there's an expression in Kempo that it's not the water in the vessel, but the vessel upon the water, meaning that, once you, water can be free flowing if it's allowed to just take the form of anything. But if you stagnate it and you say, this is how we're going to do something, it has to be done this way, then it creates form and has function, and it can be broken, just like a rock. It's solid, where the ocean, beat up the ocean. How do you ever beat up the ocean? But the ocean can knock you on your butt. It could do a lot of damage. And so that mindset of flowing and movement to movement, I just took right into me with jiu-jitsu. I'm like, now I'm like, if I grab the wrist and you pull, I'm going to go for a triangle. Oh, you're going to push back in. I go for an arm bar. If I go for the arm bar, then the omoplata opens up. Oh, now your ankle's open. And then other influences in my life, like Dan and Asada, we were talking about earlier, because, obviously I'm a fan of Bruce Lee. Everybody, very few guys that are martial artists I can say aren't fans of Bruce Lee. So when I read his book, and then was exposed to Dan and Asada, and then actually there was a guy that one of my regrets in life is I never got to meet him. Northern California, a guy named Wally J. He did small circle jiu-jitsu. I got a hold of one of his VHSs, and he broke down submissions in a real quick way. And I think that's why, if you watch my Pete Williams fight, I kind of pulled off a weird submission and elbow crank from the bottom that I've seen before in judo maneuvers. Gene LaBelle had a book out with Gokar, and they did it standing, and I was able to do it from the ground. But a lot of it was attributed to a statement that Wally J had said, and having the Kempo mindset that, hey, if it works, it works. You flow with it. He said that, hey, a submission takes 3 components. It's just leverage. You need a fulcrum. You need a base, which means whatever you're attacking on the other side of that fulcrum has to be stabilized. And then you have to have a lever. And now you can make anything a submission if you have that, component in mind. So if I armbar you, my legs wrap around and I pin you to the mat, right? So now your body's the base. It can't move. My hips become the fulcrum, and then your arm is the lever. That's how I actually even started. I think I was one of the first people to actually do it, because not that I ever invented a move. I mean, how does anybody invent something? Things have been done by everybody. But when I fought Tank Abbott, for about a year before that, I would always hit omoplatas on guys and, hit the shoulder lock, and I'd get sweeps out of it, but I wouldn't finish a lot of guys. A lot of guys know how to roll and fight out of it. Then I looked over and I see people's foot. I'm like, hey, your foot's right there. Well, now I have a base because I have your shoulder locked. Well, I can create a fulcrum with my wrist, and if I just grab the edge of your foot, create a toe hold, because I watch a lot of Human Asada, out of Japan, seeing his submissions and the toe hold, and a lot of Japanese are really good on the foot locks. So I just started flowing and putting things together, going, hey, man, if it's open, I can rip it off. Just as long as I adhere to these basic principles, now I can free my mind to go upon any of them. I don't have to be stagnant to go, well, an armbar, sometimes I sit in the room and jiu-jitsu guys, will talk about techniques, and they're like, well, you got to put your foot here, and it has to be here, it's not right. I'm all, hey, man, it's like handwriting. We all know the same alphabet. but all our signatures look different, right? Because within the realm of the principle of what an A and a B and a C looks like, you put your own twist on it and what fits for your body, your personality, and your brain, and how that works. And so that's why I'm not a big stickler for technique has to be perfect. And that doesn't. Application has to be perfect. Timing has to be perfect. But as far as the structure of, well, if it's not done this way, it's wrong. I'm like, that's too much of a form. That's too much structure, and within that structure, fighting is chaos. You want to hold that much structure in a world of chaos, and you'll break.
That's a beautiful thing, brother. No,
Submissions.
I've always been a big fan of Kempo.
Yeah, I love Kempo. Flowing, overwhelming your opponent.
I was good friends with a guy, and he was a black belt under a guy here in Los Feliz, and it was pretty interesting. We just became friends, and he started explaining why his Kempo was different than everybody else's in town. And it all started when the guy died. He left the son in charge. So the guy from Pasadena lost his mind. The guy that does all the videos and shit.
Yeah, just Speakman.
What's his name?
You talking about Speakman?
Yes, nice guy. I see him in Vegas. I always see him at the airport. That's the weirdest thing. What, brother? He does the Burbank thing, the Pasadena thing, right? He's up in Pasadena. But there's like 3 guys that are like, they're supposed to be the John Gotti, but they're not the John Gotti at Kempo. So it left
if you got the Tracy brothers.
Right, so it left a lot of holes. Right, the Tracy brothers.
Yeah.
So now what happened, this guy in Los Feliz was the guy who his teacher went to jail for murder. David something right here in California. But he's the guy that learned the leg lock maneuvers from Ed Parker. Ed Parker didn't have leg locks, but what do you call those things, Frank Mir, when I go into you and my leg hits your leg like a hip check? So it had all these leg checks in the style.
Okay.
So when the father died, some of the people took that whole section out. But there's still a couple people in Kempo. You had to hunt them down.
Yeah, I'm interested now.
That kept all the leg stuff. So
yeah, because I have a few of them my dad taught me.
Right.
Like I knew about the heel hook because we did it off of a leg takedown. Guy throws a roundhouse, we used to catch it, and then reap the leg. You know how on the bottom, if someone mounts you, you can push off, or pull guard, you can reap the leg by coming underneath the leg and come over the top. I learned that technique when I was a kid, but off of a kick. Guy kicks, and then also now I'm going to throw my leg over the top and sweep and reap your leg down, and then go for the heel hook. We didn't apply it very well because it was kind of taken out of context. But the basic shows that someone was doing it. It just got misunderstood as it got passed on.
It was, and I went up there with the guy a couple times. It was very interesting. So not only would he attack your hands, but his first movement was his leg against yours to distract you.
Yeah, it knocks you off balance, throws up your base.
So he did that with everything. And then we started looking into it, and it was the guy charges $1.50 a month for 2 classes a week because nobody else, not the guys in Marina Del Rey, not the guys in Englewood, not the guy in Pasadena, they took that style of it out. He even had weird forms. Like he had the books from Ed. I mean, this is craziness.
Yeah.
So,
and Kempo applies really well to street fighting altercations. And people ask me, well, why do you think, even training jiu-jitsu with a gi, I think has more street fighting applications than people want to give it credit for, right? Because I tell people, like, hey, well, MMA is 100% street fighting. I'm like, not really. Is it close? Yeah. But it's still not. They're like, well, why? I'm like, well, I haven't gotten to a fight with anybody that started 30 feet in front of me. Every fight and altercation I got into, like when I worked in the clubs at the Rhino, I got into fights. I was probably about 6 inches away from the guy before we started fighting. So the distance and the range was way different. And probably almost all the fights anybody here's been in. When's the last time you got into a fight with a guy from across the parking lot and then you guys start walking towards each other? Almost every fight I've been into, I'm able to grab the guy. I mean, we're within inches of each other when the altercation occurs. So a lot of the Kempo and foot, leg inside, the knees, the clinch work, the different hand trapping, extremely applicable towards being there. Sometimes you don't see it as much in MMA because guys are able to keep distance in and out, a little almost more of a long range kickboxing, type of stance and posture and distancing.
Kempo, Wing Chun, that never really translated much into MMA. Like it was like a lost soldier. Like it just, and I love it. I love all those styles.
You're starting to see a lot of it come back, though. Even the front kicks now. John throws them. Conor McGregor throws it that way. You see, even the kicks, that like Machida and Anderson Silva, the snap kick with the ball of the foot.
Well, they've taken pieces of stuff.
Yeah, that kind of kick that came from. I mean, not that it came from Kimpo, but Kimpo does that kick.
I'm blanking on his name, but it's like Wonder Boy or
he's
fighting
Stephen Thompson.
Stephen
Exactly.
Thompson.
Well, he's got more of a kickboxing taekwondo base.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, he uses more of the spin.
But it's still
hook kicks,
no. I see what your point is. Listen, people have said, well, taekwondo isn't practical in the UFC. Let me tell you something. You catch a motherfucker sleeping with one of those spinning roundhouse kicks, those taekwondo things. Not that you go out there and throw them till your fucking leg falls off. Jesus fucking Christ.
Well,
if I know it's coming, I'm talking about 1 every 4.
Yeah.
You suck them in. You've been doing this since you're a fucking white belt. Now you're a black belt, right? I mean, at that level, if you're gonna, no matter what, that always stays with you.
Yeah.
And then in training camp, you're like, you know what? Let me work this. I told you don't throw that fucking. Let me just fuck with it.
No, that's one thing I'm glad about the coach that I use now, Angelo Reyes. Right? He trained under Freddie Roach. Anna Houliton is a world champion female boxer. And they came from, he owned a Kimpo school in San Francisco, in the Bay Area. So here he's a Kimpo black belt. She goes into amateur boxing, becomes a world champion female boxer. And then now we've implemented that back into our style of fighting. So when I train with him, it's funny. I would sit there and, when I first started training, I'd do a front leg wheel kick, right? And I'd train with a lot of Muay Thai guys. That was predominantly the striking art, that dominated MMA. And they're like, oh, no, don't do it that way. It's wrong. And now it's funny because, 10 years later, I'm looking and now I'm able to throw the kicks the way I remember that I was taught to begin with. It's like, hey, no, a kick doesn't have to be a real heavy set down, put your weight behind it, because now that we have takedowns, if it's predictable, you get put on your butt. How good's a kick if you can only land it once every 5 minutes to someone's leg and then they just shoot a double and hold you down? Whereas, a lot of the snapping kicks, the front kicks, I think right now John Jones is a great example of somebody who can use the kicks. The kicks he throws, those aren't Muay Thai style. That's much more karate style. Speed and fast, and it hurts people and knocks him around, and it gets his feet back down to the ground, so he's dangerous again. Because, you're always taught, too. I mean, that's why in Kimpo, a lot of the kicks are aimed for the body or to the legs lower, because you don't want to be in a street fight and lift your leg up. It's not so much about how high you kick, but it's being on one foot was never a good thing. If you're close to a guy, it's like, hey, being on one foot might be a dangerous recipe for success here. You might not want to be on one leg while the other guy's on two, unless you make the most of that movement. You bring the foot up, snap kick the guy to the solar plexus. You put your foot down. Now you go into a hand combination. That was a successful maneuver. You throw a real heavy roundhouse, you kick a guy in the leg. Yeah, I mean, it hurts, but all of a sudden he has both his hands up. You see a lot of guys get caught and knocked out that way.
It was funny because when I thought you were one of those Abu Dhabi dudes. I thought you had been involved in jiu-jitsu since you were 12 and you went to Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
You lived in Brazil and ran up hills and stuff, the whole thing. And you just told me you started jiu-jitsu at 19. That's when you walked into a fucking jiu-jitsu
First time I put a gi on.
Where was that at?
There was a gym in Vegas. It was called Modern Martial Arts. The guy that ran the school was a black belt in Kimpo also. He trained under a guy that actually trained with the guy that trained my father. My father trained under the Ed Parker system. The guy, Gary Swan, Stephen LeBounty, some of his lineage. And then he directly trained in Vegas under a guy named Clifford McKinney. And then there was a guy named Eddie Flash Newman that also trained there at the gym. So Philip Karpinski was a black belt under Eddie Flash Newman. Phenomenal athlete, great kickboxer, from a Kimpo background, went into that world. And so he also, because he saw the limitations of just being a pure striker, went out and trained in New York, trained under Hinzo and Rodrigo and Gracie. And so he actually was a purple belt under Rodrigo Gracie. So that was my first exposure to jiu-jitsu. I remember I walked in the gym, 19 years old. At the time, I'm a black belt in Kimpo, big, strong, fast athlete, I was state champion in wrestling here in Nevada, and went in those little guy, 140-pound blue belt. I wish I could remember his name and give him credit. But we go out there and I grab him down. I'm on top of him, rolling around. I'm inside his guard, so I put my hands around his neck. I go ahead and do the, what does Rogan want to call it? The rape choke, So I'm like, I got this guy. What's going on? Boom. Also, next thing I know, I'm about to pass out, Legs go up around my neck, and he throws me into, the first time I heard the word triangle, and passes me out, right? I get woken up and do that again. You know, I remember I was so excited when I left there with the idea that submissions were so definitive, because, you know, I've been in fights before and I've seen people, there's some guys out there, I mean, you see them in the UFCs, you know, that you can hit them with a baseball bat, right? And they ain't going away. So you can hit them with your best Sunday punch. Some people are just built, they're not going down. I don't care how hard you hit them. And, you know, the other thing too that makes MMA a little bit, like I tell people, real street fighting is way more like grappling than it is striking. Because, you know, if you notice, everybody has to tape and wrap their hands. You're not throwing knockout punches on a regular basis, bare knuckle. You know, go out to your local gym, find any boxer who's worth his weight, and tell him to go ahead and wail on the bag for a round with no gloves and no hand wraps. He'll look at you like you're crazy. Human hand, 26 bones. I'm not slamming onto a bag, let alone punching someone in the face. You know, the human skull is one of the hardest areas of the body. You punch that, your hand goes. And so
you were talking on our show about that being kind of a popular misconception, that people see the old days, the bare knuckle days, and they go, "Oh, it was way more brutal back then." But
no,
you made the point that it was safer.
It's safer. Like,
yeah.
Even right now, if I said, "Hey, you're going to punch me in the head," you're going to do a bare knuckle. Your hand's going to take a lot worse beating than my head is. You might end up going to the hospital when you're done. You're going to break metacarpals, and your hand might never be the same again. Guys break their hands even when they're taped, let alone when their hands are bare. So the head damage is a lot less. People don't tape our hands. You know, boxers and MMA fighters, our hands aren't taped. We're not wearing gloves to protect each other's heads. Anybody thinks that's for the safety of the fighter. No, it's not. That's for the excitement of the fans. Now that a guy's hands are taped, he can knock people out a lot better. I remember my first fight with Roberto Travin in the UFC. My first 2 fights before that, I'm a Kimpo guy. We don't wrap our hands. You know, even when we go to tournaments, you put your hand in a pair of gloves. You know, you don't really throw hard to the face. You throw hard to the body, you know, more of a street fighting mentality. It's like, hey, I might throw a jab, pop your nose, water your eyes, but if I'm going to take you out, it's going to be to the solar plexus, hit you in the liver. I'm going to try to hurt your body because it's softer and less dangerous for my hand. I remember I'm in the back, and the UFC has the cutman go back out there, and Stitch, you know, sits there and starts wrapping my hands. And so I remember after I get my hands wrapped, I'm walking around, and my dad's like, you know, what's up? I'm like, oh my God, I could put my hand through a wall right now. Like, wow. Like, so this is what it's like to get your hands taped like a fighter. This is dangerous. Yeah. And all of a sudden I went, oh shit. And my dad goes, what's wrong? I'm like, the other guy's hands are taped too, huh? Better move my head. This is going to hurt.
Now, how old were you when you walked into a UFC cage?
I just turned 22.
And by that point, you were a purple belt in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Purple belt, but with fucking wrestling experience. That adds a lot.
Yeah, it helped out a lot. I mean,
Right.
I only wrestled
Yeah,
2
yeah.
years in high school. I wish I would have wrestled more. I basically did it because of football. You know, big, strong, fast athlete. And, you know, they were like, you know, hey, at the time, the idea was, you know, I would take, you know, I'd play football and I'd go run track through discus and, you know, around in a 4x1, 4x2 team. But, you know, in the wintertime, you know, I would just go to the weight room. You know, I liked lifting weights. And the defensive coach for the football team was also the head wrestling coach. His name was Russ Leet. You know, he got a hold of me and said, you know, you're not very good tackler. You know, you're fast, you're strong, you run around, but you don't wrap people up very well. Let's get you on the wrestling mat. And so I went out there, first 7 matches, get my ass kicked, you know, I'm just getting pinned in 30 seconds, know what's going on. Went home, cried about it, and then just sat there and like, okay, let me evaluate the situation. What am I doing? What am I good at? What can I? And I was like, okay, a double leg takedown, broke it down. I'm going to do this. I don't know how to wrestle on the mat as far as, you know, controlling and tilts and you know, chop and jam and spiral rides. These are foreign to me, and I'm catching up. I've only been wrestling for a month or two. So I started cutting guys loose. I went on to my junior year with the 2 months of experience, got third in state, zone runner up. In the next year, went like 44-1, you know, won state, went to nationals. I think I went 2-2 at nationals, the Pittsburgh Press. And so I picked it up really well, but not because I knew how to wrestle really well. I knew a few wrestling techniques, but because of my Kempo background and the martial arts idea of knowing how to set people up, knowing rhythm, knowing about timing and application. So I had the principles of combat down. And that's the same thing that happened when I started learning jiu-jitsu. By the time I fought Roberto Travin, my first fight in the UFC, I had 2 years of jiu-jitsu experience. Roberto Travin at the time was a 4-time world champion in the Mundials, black belt. By all accounts, this guy's going to murder me. You know what I mean? This guy has been doing jiu-jitsu since he was a baby. And, not only am I fighting a Brazilian, I'm fighting a Brazilian world champion black belt. And we went out there, and I ended up breaking his arm at about a minute into the fight, through a combination. He fell down. I was able to pass over his guard, went straight to mount. He went to block the mount by bringing his knees up, but he put his arm out, and just my mindset of being free and flowing, boom, snatched up the arm and took it.
That's crazy.
Nah.
And you how long? Now you're a black belt now.
Yeah, I got my black belt actually probably about 4 years into it. I was 24 when they gave me my black belt, so it took 4.5 years for me to get a black belt in jiu-jitsu. And I got it the same night I won the heavyweight title from Tim Sylvia.
Once you break his arm, you got a black belt.
So
once you break somebody's arm, you go back to the school and you go, it's over.
Yeah.
You got all these degrees. I got a fucking
gave me a black
arm.
belt at the time. From the time I was, almost a blue belt. I think maybe I got my blue belt. I was already a blue belt under Philip Karpinski. And then a guy named Ricardo Perez came into town, Brazilian guy, who was a black belt under Sergio Pena, who they have kind of a famous story that, he basically was beating Rickson Gracie in a jiu-jitsu match down in Brazil, scoring a bunch of points on him. He had a real active style. And then, the rumors are, and I wasn't there, I've never seen a video, but the stories in the gym is that, one of the Gracies go over there and the power in the building all of a sudden goes off. They have to stop it. It takes a little while, and it lets Rickson recover and get back into it. And then Rickson, being the champ that he is, they had about a minute left in the match when they restarted it again, was able to get mount, and extremely phenomenal at mount if anybody watches his fights, and then was able to get the choke, with the collar. And so Sergio Pena, great tactician, trained still in Vegas. Ricardo, I think now he's in Ohio or maybe North Carolina. Last time I checked in with him. But it was right after I fought Tim Sylvia. I'm sitting there, I won the heavyweight belt. But, there's a little bit of, did he tap? He didn't tap. Was his arm really broken? We're sitting in the back locker room. And, in fact, at that point, I think Pat Miletich, Tim Sylvia's coach, came in the back, goes, oh, no, just a tendon pop. Don't feel bad. You know what I mean? So I'm like, oh, that sucks. I really didn't win the fight. I really didn't break his arm, I'm like, oh, okay. And so then my coaches at the time said, with the ceremony that jiu-jitsu guys have, just kind of threw the belt at me and go, by the way, now you're a black belt, And so that was, my black belt ceremony was backstage at the, I think it was MGM Grand after becoming the UFC Heavyweight Champ. That's what it took for me to get my black belt. And so, then though we go to the press conference, and before it gets started, Dana goes up there at the mic and says, hey, everybody, Tim's at the hospital right now. Actually, he's going to get ready to go through surgery. They have to put a plate in his arm, it looks like, because, his radius and his ulna is actually fractured in 3 different places. Congratulations to Herb Dean. That was actually a very good stoppage. And then it looked kind of funny because, my whole family, there's, 30 deep over there, start clapping and cheering, And so some of the people were like, that's pretty barbaric. You guys are cheering. The guy got his arm broke. And I had to explain to a few people, like, nah, man, my family's not cheering because it broke his arm. They're cheering because, not even Bruce Buffer announced me as the new heavyweight champ. Because after that fight, they thought it was a wrong stoppage. So, they announced me as the winner. But if you go back and watch that fight, Buffer didn't even announce me as the heavyweight champ of the world. I got the belt being wrapped around my waist because there was so much confusion about whether it was a good stoppage or not. So to hear that his arm was indeed broken, that it was a good stoppage, was vindication. It was like confirmation that, yes, Frank Mir tonight won this fight conclusively, no doubt about it. He's the champ.
Fucking tremendous.
Tremendous night. It was a good night.
And that's the first hoof you got, right? You got 3 hoofs in the fucking UFC, right?
3 what?
Hoofs. Like you broke 3 bones or 2 sets of bones.
Let's see. I know Roberto Travin's arm broke. Tim Sylvia's arm broke.
And Nogueira.
Nogueira's arm broke, yeah. So.
And you got lurched with a heel hook.
Right, yeah.
Okay, that was the heel hook, which was tremendous. That's the history of
knee
jiu-jitsu.
bar.
That's the history of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
That's when I started thinking about joining. When I saw that, I said,
a big, strong, powerful guy.
I was raised in karate. And, you know the guy, the 10 Planet guy, Renato Laranja?
Yeah.
His father.
Oh, really?
Was my first karate teacher
That's
in
cool.
New York when we came from Cuba. And I got my purple belt, green belt with him. Then I went to Jersey, and I was a karate guy, and I go to tournaments and shit. I never fucking dreamt of jiu-jitsu. Like jiu-jitsu and savate. were the things that were there, but who gave a fuck?
Well, I mean, when you talked about Brazilian arts, people first started talking about it. I remember when I first even saw Royce came out to fight, right? I thought he was going to do capoeira. You know, I'm like, oh, these guys going to do those little, like, cartwheels and shit? Like, you know, is that?
I didn't even know about that. Like, I came from the Bruce Lee era. I was there. I'm an old man. I came when Bruce Lee died. I saw his shift. You know, I saw it go from...
Bruce Lee, though, was ahead of his curve, man. He knew about grappling.
Yeah.
If you watch
Enter the Dragon.
Yeah, the guy hits a crucifix.
Yeah, and an arm bar or something. He's
even
badass.
the Kempo gloves that he was using there, right? It's called the Kempo gloves, right? Those actually might even, you know, if they were a little smaller, actually, I think are even sometimes more advanced than the gloves we use now. Because look how many times fights get screwed up because guys, you know, we post our hand out. You know, a guy goes to throw a punch, and, you know, that's a maneuver that's taught. Like, hey, you post and create distance, right? The only problem is guys do this, and they poke guys in the eyes inadvertently. You know, it's not on purpose. But even in training, you know, when we train, I use a lot of bag gloves for my MMA training because they're small. They're, you know, you can wear a 10-ounce glove, but it leaves my thumb free, and I can grab so we can grapple. But the advantage it has is it covers up the fingers, because training with MMA gloves, even if you make them really padded, they're open fingered, and there's nothing worse. I mean, hey man, you only have two, you know, you have one set of eyes, right? You don't want them getting, you know, poked out, scratched, and it's easy. I mean, guys, you know, get the retinas, and you know, I've even, you know, in training had a hyphema, a tear in my eye where it filled up with blood just from an inadvertent poke. And so, you know, Bruce Lee had the gloves, the Kempo gloves, the fingers are closed on them, so you can't poke anybody in the eyes, and you can grip and grab, and that's because of his Wing Chun background, training with Judo Jean LaBelle. He understood grappling, training with Dan and Asado. They understood that, you know, that fighting had the 4 different ranges. You had the kicking range, punching range, grappling range, and then the ground fight. Even in his fight with when he fought Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in the Game of Death, you know, a movie a lot of people haven't seen because, you know, that's when he had passed away filming it, but he at least filmed his scene of going through basically the temple or the building, the different layers of martial arts, the different levels of him.
Dan and Asado.
Right, Dan and Asado was one of the
sticks.
Right,
Yeah.
he put, you know, what a phenomenal fight they had. And then he fights the top level guy was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Basically, it would be, what if we give a super athlete martial arts skills, you know? Basically, it was the original John Jones. And so he goes out there and he uses actually grappling, throws him, holds him a head and arm scarf hold, trying to put him in a head and arm choke and choke him out, and using grappling techniques, realizing, oh, I can't strike with a guy that has 2 feet of reach on me. I have to make adjustments. I have to flow. You know, like I said, be like water, you know, and used his grappling. And doing that back there, what, in the late 60s, early 70s, before anybody, I mean, man, it still never caught on. He was doing it there, and he was such an innovative guy. But, I mean, heck, we were, what, 93? Guys still weren't training ground until the Gracies came in and showed everybody what they were doing.
No, it was like, we were talking to Matt Serra, him saying that he used to have to go from Long Island to, like, Asbury Park, New Jersey once a week. But he'd train for 4 hours and then take the 2-hour bus back, because that's how far it was to train. There wasn't jiu-jitsu, wasn't on every neighborhood back then, how it is now. It was very sparse. You know, Brooklyn had like a school, or, you know, and then the Gracies, like the Machados came out here and went down in South Beach, or not South Beach, whatever they call that down there. Who the fuck knows? Redondo Beach, I'm very sorry. But I thought you were always like a lifelong jiu-jitsu guy. See, you got to fucking read the Wikipedia, Lee. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Read the Wikipedia.
Well, and I have just a real good, my body, being a heavyweight, my flexibility and my motion. You know, everybody, you know, even a boxer, everybody boxes. But within boxing, you have different styles of boxing. And MMA, even though I know how to strike, I have knockouts on my record, I've taken people down. My strong suit, what I just have just a love for is the submission game. I've just always felt that it was the best way. And it's funny, even I tell my kids that, you know, they were talking, they're like, you know, Dad, why are submissions more important than strikes? I'm like, well, you know, I talk about the gloves that, you know, street fight, you know, it's hard to knock people out without hurting your hands. And also, you know, civil lawsuits, you know, even if you pass a criminal case, look kind of bad if you punch someone's face in, drop a couple elbows on them, where, you know, chokes, throws, submissions, definitely can control somebody. And hey, man, you put a rear naked choke on anybody. I mean, they call it Mataleon for a reason. You kill a lion, you know what I mean? Take them out. But I say, hey, just look at nature. You know what I mean? In nature, things that strike, things that hit things, you know, ram up against them. The strikers, they're the prey. They're what get hunted because they create room, they hit things. You want to look at who the predators are, who does the hunting. That's the grapplers. If you look at an anaconda, lions, tigers, bears, a cougar jumps out of the tree, they grapple you. They grab on, they go for your neck, they go for the choke, basically, using teeth in their mouth. But it's the same concept of wrapping a person up and incapacitating them. And so that's the effective way to take somebody out. That's the most 100%. There's guys out there, like I said, hit them with a baseball bat, they're not going to go anywhere. I don't know anybody in the world. Anybody wants to prove me wrong, I'll give them my whole bank account. Let me slip in a rear naked choke and tell me that you're not going to go to sleep.
Well, I know that you're a man of the iron. I know that you believe in carrying a piece from time to time.
Absolutely. Except for when I'm here in California, the law's here.
And I love it too. I can't carry a piece no more. And I carried a piece for many years when I was a young fucking moron, and I got involved in a lot of bad things. And I got to tell you something. I never knew how important jiu-jitsu was till I walked into that gym the first time and did my first hip escape and realized I knew nothing about nothing.
Yeah.
I knew nothing about nothing. Because I'm gonna tell you what real life is for you motherfuckers that think it's about watching a TV show and the whole fucking thing. I've seen people getting taken out in 2 fucking minutes. But in today's world, you want to get in and out of there. Yeah. And I know with 2 guys, I'll bet my bank account that Frank Mir could kick a guy in the stomach, keep him off for 3 minutes, and he's already sized this guy up. His Kempo background, his fighting background, you already sized this guy up. You already know you got a single on him through that fucking plate glass window, and you're going to pull and rip his fucking lung out through that glass. The Hindu is going to drop his fucking jaw behind the counter. He's never seen nothing like that. And this guy's going to come back at you with a punch, and you're going to single him down, get him, and break his fucking arm with a Kimura within seconds. You're going to be in your car. Yep. Within that, before fucking whatever, calls 911, you're in your car and gone. Not even a camera caught your plate. I know this for a fact, because that's how fast it goes down. And jiu-jitsu, when you're on your back, in today's world, you're dead. You're dead, Lee.
What do you mean? Isn't on the back still okay?
You're dead. You walk out of 7-Eleven, there's a guy by that red box. You go to your car. He hits you in the head. You go on your back. That's it. He could stick his dick in your fucking mouth. He could take your wallet, flip you over, fuck you in the ass, light your asshole on fire. You're dead, Lee, if you're on your back. If you could hit your back and regain your breath and at least grab the guy's fucking pant leg.
Or if he comes down to attack you.
And comes down to attack you.
Like when I hit my butt in a fight, if something happens and I sit down, I'm like, you better leave now. Because if you want to engage me and come on top of me, it actually happened to me. I think the statute of limitations have gone now, so I'll give vague aspects of the story. But I got into a big squab. My coach, Ricardo Perez, we were at some fights, and he goes over there with Marcus Aurelius to calm some guys down. So I'm sitting there ringside, and one of the other guys, and I got a weird feeling we walked into there anyways. We walked in there, Dan Lambert, brought his whole team in, and we're there with them. And, majority of the guys there are all Brazilians, right? So I remember got a weird vibe right off the bat because I walk into these fights more on the East Coast, and the announcer's like, hey, we're sponsoring a bunch of guys. We need your support here. We got to really help kick these Brazilians' asses. And I'm like, that didn't sit right with me, man. These are fights, you know what I mean? Like man versus man. Like I don't really like that whole. We start getting
USA.
This, yeah,
US
that just bugs me.
Yeah,
USA. You hey, you want to have love for your nationality. I'm for that too. Hey, my father, my family, sacrificed a lot to become U.S. citizens. So my dad, is a Republican, loves being here, learned the language, became a citizen. So I respect being an American. It wasn't just a birthright for him. He sacrificed to be here. And so...
I hate when they all do it, not USA.
Oh, yeah,
I mean. Like when you go to Brazil,
yeah, they do it
when
too.
you go to Ireland, just leave
it bugs
the fucking...
me.
And I hate when somebody tags it. Sometimes I just see a fight. I don't even catch that.
Yeah.
I don't even catch that. I don't want to catch that.
Yeah. People want to feel good about themselves somehow. I don't know.
Well, this is the Brazilian. And I was like, God damn it. I thought fucking no. Why did you got to mention that? I thought he was Puerto Rican.
Yeah, whatever. So anyway, so a fight breaks out, right? They already said that. And so, there was a Brazilian fight and an American guy. and the Brazilian's getting the better of the fight, and one of the Americans is up screaming and yelling, and so the coaches are trying to shout instructions. So one of the American guys there, I'm assuming he's American, he just didn't like the Brazilian team, grabs him by the T-shirt, yanks him off the cage, get out of my way. I can't fucking see what's going on. So our guys run over there, and Ricardo, very level-headed guy, he's trying to talk the guy down. He sits him down. All of a sudden, punches start getting thrown, and a fight breaks out, right? So I see my coach, who I'm living with at the time now. I moved in with him. So he was like, he's like, basically I call him Tio, that's like my uncle, you know what I mean? So I run over there, and I'm on the outskirt of the cage. And I'm looking down, and my coach just disappears. Marcus disappears. There's a big fight, and I can't see him. So I see the guy that's tussling with my coach. I just jump over the top, try to throw an elbow and a strike, and I hit. Dumb mistake, because I end up on the bottom immediately. My feet never end up touching the ground because I jump on a pile of people. Boom, I'm on the bottom, right? So I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden now I bring my elbows to my knees, and I try to get like an egg and a ball because I'm getting kicked on the bottom. I don't know what's going on. The guy that started the whole fight, I just remember, he looks over and he sees me, right? All of a sudden now he goes and grabs me by the throat. And I'm like, I can't. In my brain, I'm like, what a Christmas gift. You just gave me your arm. You had me, man. I'm on the ground. If you just would disengage, I can't get to you. I have to get back up. So boom, I slap an arm bar on him. That ended that altercation really quickly. He ends up having to be taken out, and we end the fight that way. Everybody's, brawl gets broken up, cops come, everybody gets separated, and that was the end of it. And ending up on the ground, but because he engaged, my ability to do jiu-jitsu, saved me from a bad situation, being on the bottom of a big ballroom brawl, as you say.
And just even if I go to jiu-jitsu for the health benefits. I just go for the health benefits. Like, I could care less if I become a flying master. I just love breathing on my back and doing all the exercises.
It's good for it. It's good for your brain. It's good for your body.
I finally, I was going over here to VMAC, but I can't go at night. They're a night school, so I was going once a week. So I went to Flappers one night, and I saw Alberto Cranes. I said, you know what? I went home. He has classes every day at lunchtime. 7 days a week, lunchtime classes. That's like stealing. You get 3 of those a week. I don't care how busy you are, So I've been over there since January, and I just go over there to sweat. Just to sweat. That's
good. I'm glad you do that. Too many guys I talk to on the street that come up to me and they're like, man, it's beautiful, the jiu-jitsu, martial arts, but, I could never be a fighter. I'm like,
who cares?
Why do you got to be a fighter to train?
Who cares?
You know what I mean? That's like, do you like playing basketball? Yeah? You going to be in the NBA? No. So then don't play. You can't go play basketball down at the court with your boys. That's stupid, right? That'd be a dumb thing. It's like, well, if you're not going to be in the NBA, why do you even try playing basketball? And I think the same thing with fighting. Martial arts, jiu-jitsu, kempo, all the different arts, they have so much to give you, and it's such a journey and a lifestyle. Just because you're not going to be the 1% of the guys that turn professional. I mean, Richard now, blue belt jiu-jitsu, trains.
He was saying, he even invited me over. Yeah, he's like, come over.
Great. There's times I was watching techniques. One of his instructors was showing him, and I was watching. It was funny because we're at the gym. I'm at Robert Drysdale's, and my kids are training now, and I let the other people coach them because I'm going to still be dad, not the coach. I'm thinking that's a better way not to muddle the lines. I'm a good advisor. They come and ask me, I'm in the backyard in the grass, showing my son. I'll show him a sidearm choke, and hey, what are you having a problem with? The spider guard. The guys grab my sleeves. Okay, step to the side, cross knee, break it down. So I mean, I give tips and and that type of stuff, and a lot of philosophy and thought process. But as far as being the coach, being the hard ass that sits there and goes, no, that's wrong, like this. I don't want to step into that role. And so I'm watching my son train, and my daughter's in the other room in the girls' class, and I look over and
Bindi Casimir.
Bindi is over there training right at Dry's, and he's over there drilling his knee bars off of a back step, and the way he's setting it up was beautiful. The way he trapped the ankle and stepped over and hooked it. I'm like, man, if you lock that up that way, that's pretty much a wrap. You can't defend. So here my wife's like, are you watching? I'm like, yeah, I'm watching our kid. And then I'm drifting over. I'm like, but that's beautiful. Look at that over there. Look at that technique over there. So to the point where now Richard and I, we had to do our show later that night at No Regrets Bar, a bar that's owned by Sean Lane, a good friend of my wife and I. And, So as we're getting ready to start the show, we're clearing tables out of the way. I'm like, okay, let me go over this real quick. You know, I just want to make sure I hold on to what I saw, showing it to him. And sure enough, we're there, you know, and poor Richard, you know, my 280-pound ass is like sitting on his chest, trying to move his ankle, you know, and then one of the bartenders comes out, is everything all right? I'm like, yeah, we're just playing around, you know.
He thinks there's a fight out on the patio because there's two guys drilling knee bars. You know, he just looks over the bar and sees it. But you know, like when you talk about, Joey, you train in jiu-jitsu, and this is the security benefit that I got from it, at sticking with it long enough to get a blue belt and everything, is it's kind of like Frank said, when people come up to him and go, oh, I'd love to learn jiu-jitsu, but I could never be a professional fighter. To me, there's a security in having a basic understanding of knowing how to handle yourself. Now, if I run into a black belt who wants to pick a fight with me, I might, maybe an issue.
You're a blue belt in jiu-jitsu. You're beating anybody in a street fight. I mean, unless they grab a rock, hit you in the head.
Right.
You know what I mean? If you're a blue belt in jiu-jitsu and the other guy doesn't know jiu-jitsu, 99 out of 100 times you're winning that fight. After 6 months or after you're a blue belt in jiu-jitsu, you know why you keep training jiu-jitsu? To beat other jiu-jitsu guys. It ain't about beating a guy who doesn't know what he's doing about jiu-jitsu. You know, you already know how to, you know, hip roll. You already know how to hip exit, you know, sweep, you know, scissor sweep, get on top, mount him, choke him, you know. Trust me, at that level, you're not losing. But then after you get up to that level, like right now, every technique that Richard knows, he knows every technique I've done. You know all the techniques I've done in fights. Pretty much in the fights are all blue belt, purple belt level techniques. Beyond that, the combination, the flows, that's so I can beat other black belts at jiu-jitsu. That's why you keep training. Now, how do I beat that brown belt that's over there, you know? That's why you have to keep putting in time. What are the chances of me and that guy actually getting into a fight outside, you know? Chances of you fighting two black belts, meeting each other up at the club and not knowing each other and fighting each other? You know, it's going to get hit by lightning, you know what I mean?
I think of it like that. I think of it as sort of like knowing how to basically handle a firearm. It doesn't mean I'm, you know, maybe I stick with it long enough to where I become an actual sniper. But even if I don't, just having a basic understanding of how to handle that weapon, you got it in your pocket.
I think as an adult in this society, especially for women, I think it's a disservice not to train and know some, especially girls. I tell people all the time, I'm like, you know,
it was made for you.
For a woman.
It was invented.
Yeah.
And you can just catch
especially
a guy.
a woman.
Boom, done.
You know, I show my mom. My wife knows the basic arm bars, and stuff, especially from bottom. You know, one of the first things I show her. You know, like I'm like, hey, if I'm in your guard between your legs, I go to grab you by the throat. I'm grabbing your wrist. She knows how to flip her hips over and lock up. And then I explain. You know, and I've showed a couple of her girlfriends to try to get them to want to train. It's like, look, man, it's your hips versus my arm. I don't care if it's Brock Lesnar. You know what I mean? You're not out curling what a girl can leg press. I mean, even the average little 120-pound woman at the gym can put 2 plates on a leg press and easily throw it up for reps, right? That's the kind of force their hips can generate. You know, you're telling me there's a guy out there that can curl that much with ease? There might be a few of them out there in the world doing the strongman competition, but again, we're talking about like, you know what, maybe 10 guys out of the 7 billion people in the population that might be able to curl against that whole leverage concept, and then throwing a choke on a guy stops the situation real quick, saves him. A guy goes to take a girl down, gets in between her. Imagine she knows how to throw a rubber guard up, lock him down, put him in a triangle, put him to sleep. You know, he's going to wake up talking to the cops. You know, it's a definitely way to save him. Now, her practice in striking, I'm not against it, but a woman trying to be 120 pounds and knock a guy out, it's going to be hard. It's not going to be easy. You know what I mean? She's going to have to be extremely well trained, spend a lot of hours, perfect her art. You know, Holly Holmes, yeah, she's going to go ahead and work a dude in a stand-up fight. You know what I mean? Anna Houlihan, yeah, you want to box her in the street, you're going to get worked. You know, Misha Tate, but you get the average blue belt, purple belt girl. I don't care what the guy's size is. If he doesn't know what he's doing, we've seen it enough times. You watch the guy, NFL guy, wrestles with a 170-pound MMA fighter. As long as he's a blue belt in jiu-jitsu at least, the little guy's going to win. He's going to choke him unconscious.
You're right, Joe. I mean, it's made for women in terms of protection. Because same thing with my girlfriend. I showed her, she'd never trained a day. And I showed her a couple basic sweeps, armbar triangle. And I said, here's all you need to know. I'm on top of you. Like I said, hands around the throat. Now I'm on the bottom and you're about to break my arm. And some dirtbag who's trying to do some shit like that, he's interested in preying on the weak. That happens to him. He's like, fuck this. I'm moving on.
Plus, too, all my kids, well, you know, the first thing I show my give divulging information, right? Rear naked choke, right? You know, it's like, hey, if I get into a fight with a bunch of guys and all of a sudden I'm struggling with one or two of them, if one of my people, my children or my wife's behind you, they know how to put a rear naked choke on. They're going to get passed out. You're out of it. I've just made them a lethal weapon. You're focused on me, you're in trouble.
Hit it, Lee. It's the halfway point of the show. You do a jumping jack, you know what I'm saying? You eat a Cuban potato. No, it's just Monday. We just play this on Mondays and shit.
I wanna be around.
Beautiful. See what I'm saying, Lee? I'm to the fucking gazette. You understand me? It's Monday. Get your shit together. Well, tomorrow you'll be listening. It's Tuesday. I hope you're still tuning in. Lee is done. Look at him over in the corner. He doesn't know what to do. With his little fucking Suge Knight blue Hawaii shirt. I went to Fry Better or something. Look at this poor kid. I gave some THC stars of death tonight.
All right.
He's done.
Struggling, huh?
I just didn't know. Okay, I had a good time.
Edible stuff's scary, right?
No, it's great, man. I love it. I like it way more than smoking. It lasts longer.
He sees the devil twice a week with Uncle Joey. We go deep
Twice
with this
a week.
motherfucker.
Oh.
I see you twice a week at night. We go deep. What you do on your personal time, that's your own fucking thing. You know what I'm saying? What are you bothering me for? Let me give some shout outs and we'll keep the show fucking going. All right, Dominic Salas, John F. Cleo. We're doing a podcast next week. Remind me, Ookie Spooky, Rick Cush Marley, Danny Biancula with the North Bergen Report, and my man Mikey Stein over by the One by One podcast. And also my main man down there in fucking Austin, Bobby and Bob Lalingus in Chicago. You know what I'm saying? What are you looking at me all weird for, Lee? That cigar smells fucking tremendous, by the way.
Patron, man. It's a good cigar.
It's good stuff?
Yeah.
Now, where do you get those?
This one I just happened to grab one of the tobacco shops when we were here because I went on a trip with the wife and kids on vacation last week. So I had a bunch of cigars with me from my dad's his cousin down in Vegas. Don Vicente, right? Owns a shop right across from the Pawn Stars, right there in North Las Vegas, just north of the Stratosphere. And so he hand rolls, Dominican, seed, Connecticut wrapper, knows how to roll cigar right. So, it's fresh, made right there. So I always just buy about, 20, 40 at a time. I go in there and go through them. But when I get out of town, if I go into a shop and I can look for one of my favorite cigars to try to purchase is Padrones, and my favorite is the 1926. And so it's a good stick, man. It's awesome.
At least you're real with this. Remember, like 15 years ago, everybody started smoking cigars, and people tapped out fucking quick.
Yeah, no.
They had the cigar. Everybody was in the mafia. Everybody was smoking. Yeah. Women were smoking cigars.
Yeah, my wife gets on me a little bit because she thinks now, obviously, your wife always looks out for your best interest. That's why, too much coffee, and she's like, hey, calm down. That's, too many days in a row, and she's like, yeah, it's not good for your heart, man. Relax, and it's a little too much caffeine. And same with cigars. I've had a couple times where, I get into the habit where, I'll be smoking a cigar or two a day, doing any work around the house, helping out with the kids and stuff, I throw a cigar in the mouth, have my little torch, keep it going, and then, so that's when she's like, hey, can we cut it down to the weekends and stuff, I know you're not inhaling it, but, it's still mouth, cancer, whatever, just chill, and then I always talk about Don. I'm like, Vicente, the guy smokes like 20 cigars a day, and he just went to the doctor, and, his lungs are fine, it'll be all right, we all have to have some kind of vice, right?
When you're Cuban, it's in your fucking DNA. Like when you're Cuban, listen, we fucking came up on an island. Like our fucking relatives, we're on an island. Did you ever think about that? Yeah. Like you would think about,
especially since I can't swim for shit.
You can't swim? No. You gotta get your shit together. That's it. But it's so weird. Like when I met my uncle one time years ago. Like my uncle's one of those bad news motherfuckers. Like every time I saw my uncle after 84, it was always bad news. I took him out to Langer's like 5 years ago, like 8 years ago, maybe 8 years ago. 2009, yeah. And we're eating. And he goes, do you know about your grandfather? Just like out of nowhere. He goes, we were talking about like the Dodgers or something. He goes, do you know the story about your grandfather? And I go, no. He goes, he married his cousin. Like, we're fucking inbred. He goes, did you know that? He goes, I'm surprised you're not fucking retarded. We're eating, and he's telling me this shit. I'm like, my mother had mentioned it once.
Yeah, but I mean, back then, a little more common, even in the States. I mean, first cousins.
No. You got to imagine. Listen. Your mom was Cuban and your dad was Cuban?
No. See, my mom's white.
Okay, so your
White
dad...
girl, so that's why, you know.
Right. So your dad's Cuban.
Yeah, my dad's from Havana.
Okay, so your dad's from Havana. So his dad's from Havana. So his dad's from Havana. So his dad's from Havana. Now here's where it gets fucked up, Frank, man. Okay, let me draw the fucking design for you. Hit me with the pen, because I don't want no misunderstandings here, okay? You got 3 routes this could have came, okay? Either, there's only 3 options to your fucking family. If your father came from Cuba. Either they came from Spain, some part of Africa,
Yep.
or they were natives on a fucking island that Columbus didn't kill.
Yeah.
There you go.
Few that survived.
Okay, so the few that fucking survived, let's say, well, he killed Mata Dwe. Atwe, he killed that Indian. He killed them and all his people. But the motherfuckers that survived were all Spaniards in a way. They all came from Spain, and they developed.
And then they brought over the slaves over from Africa.
Then they came with slaves.
to go ahead and take, to work the sugarcane fields.
And that added a complete different twist.
They brought over. That's why we were talking about the Santeria.
The Santeria and the whole fucking thing, and then it just brought over the Spanish, like Diaz. Diaz is from Camagüey. They're these fucking people that talk with like a lisp.
Okay.
Like they were completely different than my world. Like the white skin I have is Diaz. I'm a Valdez. Them desert rats. Those are fucking island rats, the Valdezes. I just showed you the cousin. Wait till you see his sister.
All right.
You know, they're the national Cuban band. My mother's sister got raped at a party, and my mother killed the dude, stabbed him in the back while he was raping his sister. So my mom came to this country like in 52 when they didn't give a fuck, when you just came over. Like,
Right.
come on over. And she ended up in this
Batista was still in
Batista
power.
regime. And then she went back with an identity that she borrowed from a friend, but when she came back into the States, that identity became her name.
Okay.
So my mom, till she died, had an alias. Those are Valdezes. They're ratty people. My uncle, this uncle I'm telling you in Glendale, we haven't talked for 2 years. This is the second time. We didn't talk for 25 years the first time. We pulled guns on each other on Vermont in 1984. No shit. No fucking shit. The Valdezes don't fuck around. And they're jungle people.
Right.
They're like mixed with fucking African blood and God knows what else. And now they're telling me they're cousins. What future do I have? I went on that fucking website to see your relatives.
Yeah,
Ain't nobody on there. I got nothing. Nothing. I'm scared to order the kit because God knows it's going to come back. The $25, I might find out something I not want to know. You know what I'm saying?
I'm a little jealous of that, though, that you still have some family history, because that's the one thing, though, when Fidel took over, my father's family, they left. They had to leave everything. They didn't get to even take birth certificates, high school diploma, nothing. The clothes on their back is what they got to come to the States with. So, back in May, I got to go down, Mount Kikaba, worked out so we can go down to Cuba. I went with Arthur Jones, John Jones' big brother, and Rainier, another guy who's a first generation U.S. guy, but he's Cuban, both parents from Miami. And actually his grandfather and father from, what's the little town there? Hershey, Cuba. And so I went there trying to investigate my ancestry because, obviously my mother's side being, from the States, going back generations, I have an idea of who they are, where the last name, the maiden name comes from. But then my father, he came over, he was 11 years old. His father passed away when he was 19. There's a lot of family history. There's a lot of relatives I have in Cuba that I have no connection with. So growing up and not having that understanding of who my father's side of the family is, that's just, I think people that, people want ancestry. You want that connection with your history to kind of know where you come from. So when I was down in Cuba, we were there for, almost 2 weeks, I was down there, going down to my father's own house. He gave me addresses, maps. I'm walking around, trying to talk to people like, hey, who else has my last name? Who's my family here? Give me some. I went down to the cemetery. Trying to just locate where my grandmother was still. Where she was put to rest at. Trying to get a sense of where I come from. And a lot of that's lost. And but due to Facebook now, even when I was down there, one of my dad's would be a cousin, share the same great grandparents was able to reach out on my Facebook and talk to me, and I was able to connect it with my father, and now my father, can go down there to Miami reunion so we can set things up and start, making reconnections, because, a lot of it was lost, coming over here, like I said, Fidel Castro, whatever. I'm not going to get on a political rant here, but a lot of people, that came over here, a lot of Cubans just didn't get to bring anything with them, and so me being the first generation coming from that, a lot of history, like, a lot of people can go where their parents or where their grandparents were raised and get to see things and have history. When Castro and those people, made that choice that they had to come over here with nothing, that connection, was broken, and a lot of things were lost.
How come the last name is Mir?
We tried to work that out. It's funny. One misconception that I actually got to correct was a lot of people thought that because, my name is Francisco, right? Francisco Santos Mir III. And they thought maybe because I shortened my first name, Francisco, to Frank. But my dad does that too. Spanish is his first language.
Jose's my first name.
My
name is Joey.
Yeah,
That's
right.
it. Done.
We're in the States, you know what I mean? They go by Frank, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I go by Frank. And so they thought the same thing. They're like, oh, look at this whitewashed Cuban. He doesn't want to acknowledge his family. I'm like, what do you mean I don't want to acknowledge my family? I go by Frank, Francisco's my name. I don't. And they go, oh, well, your last name is Miranda. You shortened it. I'm all, no, I didn't. That's the name I was born with. What are you talking about? Look at my brother. And so I even went to my dad. I'm like, hey, Pops, was our last name Miranda and we shortened it? He's all, no, man, our last name is Mir. And even when I went back to Cuba, actually one of the instructors down there, I was down there at MMA tournament, he says, yeah, one of his students' last name was Mir, and possibly cousins, and trying to figure each other out. But that's because what you're talking about, our ancestry going back several generations, but I don't have connection to figure out how or who. It came from Spain through Morocco. Morocco has the last name Mir. Moroccans did a lot of, rubbing around.
Well,
and
here's the problem, that everybody that fucking says your last name says it wrong, because if they're from Morocco, it's Mir.
Yeah.
Right? It's Frank Mir. Right?
Well, a funny story about that, right? My dad pronounced his last name Mir, right?
Right, real
name
fast.
Is Mir. And for the longest time, I'm a kid, you go to school, I run for a touchdown, people go, it's Frank Mir. So I used to just go with it, man. You know what I mean? I'm that guy, man. I'm easy going. You know what I mean? So after a while, man, I just started introducing myself. People go, who are you? Frank Mir. I'm not going to sit here and every time I meet somebody, correct you on how to pronounce my last name. And then in the UFC, I think my very first fight, Roberto Trav, and I even pronounced it that way. Hey, what's your name? Frank Mir. And my dad even said, he goes, hey, son, you kind of have an opportunity now to kind of set the record straight. Why don't you just go ahead and pronounce your last name the correct way? I'm like, oh, yeah, you're right. So Frank Mir, I'll go ahead and I'll start doing that, And so because, you come here, I mean, other cultures, probably can relate. They have a last name or a name that, when you say it in English, people have a harder time pronouncing. Yeah, you just go with it, man. Hey, you mangled my name. What is it? Yeah, that works. Works for me, man. Whatever you want to say. Can we get the conversation going? Because I'm not going to sit here and spend 3 minutes every time I meet somebody explaining them that my father's from Cuba. And this is how you say the last name. And no, it's not shortened from Miranda.
I said it. Mir.
Yeah, Mir.
Frank Mir. That's it. And I could see it now. Now that you said it that way, I could see it.
Yeah.
Now
so that it's not a very, there are people in Cuba with the last name Mir coming from Spain. That's where the last name came through.
When I found out you were Cuban, my head exploded, because I know your twin. I grew up with your twin.
No kidding.
I swear to God, we laugh all the time. And whenever you fight, he calls me up. My twins fight. We fucking giggle our ass off.
Awesome.
His name is Carlos Quintero.
Okay.
And he's about 57. He's in Jersey. Stabbed a bunch of motherfuckers. Great guy. I know
Cubans and knives, right?
Him and his brother I've known since day one. They grew up in the hard part of Jersey, and they lived on the bottom of the hill. Cars used to always run and hit their house, and it was crazy. But first time I heard you talk, I was like, Jesus Christ! Him and Carlos would drive each other crazy in a fucking room.
We got to meet each other, man. That'd be cool.
So we always talk whenever you fight and stuff. So. His younger brother Didi. So when George Elias, do you remember George Elias? Used to work for the UFC.
Yeah, I think so.
With the glasses, the older guy.
Yeah.
I called him today to tell him you were around, but I couldn't get a hold of him. He lives 3 blocks away. He lives in Studio City, so he told me you were Cuban. My head almost exploded because right away. And then I put it together.
I think I seen him at EBI yesterday.
He was at EBI.
Yeah, I saw him. Yeah.
Okay, so he knows.
Was that the guy that came up to
Yeah.
us? Oh, that's okay. Yeah.
That's
yeah.
George Elias. Yeah. George.
Yeah, he knows my father. You know, I mean, obviously.
Right. Him and your
Came
dad.
up to us outside in the parking lot.
Yeah, he came up with the
right,
gentleman.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny. A lot of people know your dad. A lot of people have said to me they know he worked security with him. Or
Yeah, he's director of security for Station Casinos after he left Metro. You know,
Metro Police?
Yeah, it was Metro Police officer.
Was a cop?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
So he's
then,
one of those hard-edged Cubans. And shit.
Yeah, man. And then he got into security work, you know, for the casinos, worked for the Fertitas, worked for Station Casinos. Now he's a director of security, you know, wears a suit, you know, deals with, but my dad's, you know, typical Cuban, you know, great talker, you know, doesn't have to worry about carrying a gun or anything. He can, you know, he diffuses situations, and, you know, you walk in there with an issue, you walk back out, just, what happened? You know what I mean? Like, judo mind trick you. You know what I mean? Like,
He has the accent?
yeah, real thick.
It's funny because that's a lullaby. Right?
It's funny because I don't notice it because that's what I grew up with. In fact, sometimes when I do commentating, people be like, "You don't say that word right." I'm like, you got to realize that my English, even though I don't speak Spanish, came from a guy that it was his second language. You know what I mean, in the household. So sometimes I mispronounce words the wrong way. You know, just not on purpose. I try to go back through and reevaluate and get it the right way. But you know, you're around that, and you know, like I said, my dad's generation, his cousins, Miguel Delgado, Roberto. You know, they're all the first generation. You know, they're all, you know, full-blooded Cuban, born in Cuba, but as far as speaking English, they were the first to learn English. They had to go in there. You know, if my grandfather or his grandfather, you know, wanted to go buy a car, aunt and uncles, my dad was the one who had to go in there and translate and help figure it out because of learning English, you know, which, you know, it took a little while. And I think that's also, too, a bit of a disservice, my dad, because of Spanish holding back a lot of his family members not be able to speak English. That's why he regrets it now. But in the early 80s, he's like, you know, why am I going to teach my kid Spanish and English? You know, it's not going to help him. It's only going to hurt him. You know, we're in America. English is the language that we need to, and he fought so hard to learn how to speak English properly, and saw how, you know, family members that didn't want to learn how to speak English, how they struggled, you know, so he didn't look at that as an advantage. He sees that now as a mistake. He's like, man, I wish I would have passed that on to you. I apologize. But at the time, you know, that's what I thought was best for you, you know, and so.
I fucking hated it.
Yeah.
When I lived in New York City, I fucking hated it.
Really?
When I first moved to New York from Cuba, and she would call my name out of that fucking window, I wouldn't answer.
Really?
I wouldn't answer. Don't fucking call me Jose Antonio in front of those fucking kids. Don't fucking talk to me in Spanish in front of those motherfuckers, all right? And she would talk to me in Spanish, and I have to pull her aside. Don't talk to me in fucking Spanish. And she'd say, when you're out there, you talk English. When you're in here, I talk to you whatever the fuck I want. And you talk in Spanish. So I went on revolt, and she said, okay. Well, you need sneakers next week, right? Let's see how you're going to come ask me. Because if you come ask me in English, you're not going to get those sneakers. So get ready for fucking revolt. You want to revolt, motherfucker? So I hated it, but I adjusted it.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something. The day I was burying her in that fucking hole, I realized how lucky I was.
No, it's a blessing.
That she beat me up all those years. And then after she died, I didn't speak that type of Spanish. See, I speak a Cuban that your dad would look at me and go, don't talk to this guy.
Well, you speak like probably from guys from Miami, you know what I mean?
No, I speak like a guy from Union City.
Oh, okay.
And I grew up with títeres. Ask your dad what a títere is. That's
Okay.
what they call
Títere.
like fucking street merchants in Cuba. Like my
most
mom used to call me a street
Cubans,
dog.
a lot of slang, though, you know?
Right, so we speak with a lot of slang and a lot of people. Like I met a guy in an audition one day, and he was like a real decent Cuban, and I was doing stand-up, and this motherfucker on the way out wouldn't even shake my hand. Like him and his wife clipped up and walked past me. There's two types of Cubans, bro. There's Pasadena Cubans. There's Cubans that know they got African blood in them, and there's Cubans that don't want to hear that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the Pasadena Cubans don't put mambo up in front of those motherfuckers. They'll run out of that house.
Yeah, I don't.
They're very intelligent Cubans. They have that Spanish blood to them. If you look at my uncle, you could tell he plays basketball. He got burnt with some. My sister's dark as shit.
Which is funny, though, right?
My sister's dark as shit. My cousin, who you saw, is light. I'll show you his sister.
I seen a picture.
And she's dark.
My dad told me about my great grandmother. You know,
African.
she's
That's
African.
it. That's it. That's just the way it is. And you accept it and you go, fuck it. You know, I hope TMZ don't get a hold of this, but it don't matter. You know, it don't matter, Syatt. Look at the poor kid.
What would the headline be?
What?
What would the headline be?
Fucking Joey Diaz is related to Yum Yum Eat 'em Up. You know what I'm saying? Who gives a fuck at this point in the game? I'm 53. I got 1 foot in the grave, 1 a banana peel. What's up, dog? Everything all right here?
Absolutely. I've been looking. You know what? I gotta say, man. So much respect for what you guys do here on the Church of What's Happening Now, because you're in my regular podcast rotation, and Frank is, because we started doing this Phone Booth Fighting podcast together. Frank's getting up to speed on the world of podcasting. But I told him, I asked him. I said, let's go out to L.A. We knew Eddie Bravo invited us out to EBI to do our podcast, which we did. And I said, let's hit a couple of podcasts while we're at it, like the top podcasts, And I hit you up and asked you if we could come out.
Super
I
happy
appreciate you having us on
this one.
Well, I got to tell you, my next question for Frank was, what was your next move? But I don't have to tell you what your next move, Frank. You have the world by the balls right now. I think they did you a favor. You're an intelligent guy. You still speak fluently. You fucking... You know the game. You've been hitting the head with enough chairs, punches. No, this guy, he got hit in the head with chairs. You ain't going to come to him and bullshit him. Like, you ain't going to come to Frank me and go, no, listen, come here for a second. I worked a bar in Vegas. I got hit with bottles and chairs and people, crazier than you. Then I went in a fucking ring and I had to fucking tackle, Tim Sylvia and break his arm. And then I went to fucking Brazil and broke whatever's shoulder. That's like tapping out fucking Jesus Christ.
Yeah, taking out Nogueira.
That's like tapping out Jesus Christ in the jiu-jitsu world. Like, that's a sad day. They didn't
it's not jabbing Muhammad Ali or knocking out Mike Tyson.
They closed. Fogo de Chaos were closed across the country the next day. And the story, it was horrible. It was like jiu-jitsu against jiu-jitsu, and he's a great guy. I love that great guy. Another guy that trained in Cuba, or his brother.
Yeah.
Right?
Both of them, they go down there and train with the Cuban boxing team.
And it's funny because the first time I saw them, I was like, those motherfuckers could pass as my cousins. They have that skin color that they could pass as my cousin. So I was looking at you, dog. You're great at, but you could talk. That's it. You got the gift of gab. You could talk shit to your 92. What happened when UFC 142? I strangled that motherfucker's arm. Boom, here's 2,000.
You are, man. You're a natural at it.
Yeah, you're a natural
I told
at
Frank.
Even when you announce, sometimes I'm like, who the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Is that fucking Frank, man?
Well, I told Frank when we started doing this, because I come from a radio background, and we just, much like this setup, we take gear over to Frank's house and we sit in his backyard once a week and we do our show, just like you and Lee talk. And I was like, man, I'll give you a few little coaching tips here and there from a radio background, but you're a natural at it.
No, he's the future. He's the future. They want somebody who's natural and who just talks.
Yeah,
and that's it.
I have experience and I've been there.
I mean,
the guys sometimes when they talk and they've been on the outside of the cage, and not that you don't have to have been a fighter to know about it. You can break things down, I don't think Bill Belichick's ever thrown a touchdown pass, but he obviously knows how to coach a football team. But, I think there's a little bit more of people value that I come from experience. When I sit there and I talk about what that fighter's going through or what he's feeling, what's going on in that situation, I've been there. I've had more fights almost than anybody in the UFC.
How many fights altogether?
What am I at, 26 or 27?
Yeah.
27 fights.
Yeah, so 27 times I've walked down through those curtains and walked out to an octagon. So when I sit there and try to talk to people or convey what's going on, I can speak from a point of experience of being there, and then have enough of a gift that I can try to make it relatable. Sit there and talk in terms that I'm not talking above people, or not trying to show them that talk from a term that only another fighter would understand. Because why am I talking to fighters anyways? You guys understand. You know what I mean? I'm trying to when I speak or if I break down fights, I'm trying to speak to not the guy who's a fan who's sitting there watching the fights. I'm giving him information he probably already knows. I'm trying to talk to his wife, his girlfriend, his mother-in-law, who's sitting there in the room going, why are you watching this? These two guys just rolling around on the ground. Listen to me talk. Let me explain to you what's going on. These two guys, they're throwing punches, just trying to throw haymakers. Nah, man, this guy's throwing this move to get this motion, get this going. And these guys
look at his left foot. You see his left foot right there?
He's trying to gain this.
He's going to do something. The other guy's not watching that left foot. That's real interesting when I hear you guys say that stuff.
Yeah, it makes it more interesting.
Joe Blow don't know.
When you understand something, you always love it more. I always use the joke, and now it won't work as well because I was down in Australia. I sat there and YouTubed it because it was on TV all the time. I wanted to understand it, but I used to always make that joke. Rugby seems like a real exciting sport, right? I have a hard time watching it because I don't know what the hell's going on. I can watch a football game because I grew up in the States, so I know what's going on in a football game. But if you watch a sport, no matter how great it is, if you don't really know what's going on, it's not as enjoyable. You know, it's like, yeah, what are they doing? They're all just mashing up on top of each other. Like, oh no, this is a scrum. So what this guy's doing, this guy's the hooker. He's sliding over the top. That's what. So same thing with grappling. I think that's one thing about the MMA that really, it needed to convey over. There's so much complex martial arts going on that, boxing's easier to understand. Obviously, boxing's really deep too. It's its own science. You can break down the intricacies of what guys are doing. A Mayweather, you break it down. Especially, I sit there now, watch fights with Angelo. He shows me, all right, Arturo Gatti, when he's fighting Mayweather, this was the angle off the left foot, setting up the right hand of the body. This is what's going on. I'm like, wow, that's interesting. But you can still bring your mom, your sister, your wife to a boxing match, and they can be excited because it's like, well, that guy hit that guy in the face. I get it, Obviously, it's a lot deeper than that, but even without a deeper understanding, it can still be enjoyable. But when you watch grappling, you see two guys on the ground moving around or two guys in a clinch. If you don't really know what's going on, you're like, well, what's he doing? He's just sitting on his back. I'm like, no. You see how his hand's pushing down on the guy's wrist right now? They're having a wrist fight right now. They're hand battling. Well, why are they hand battling? Well, because if that guy's elbow slips down any lower, he's going to throw up a triangle. Now, this guy, maybe now he's waiting for the triangle, and he's going to try to crush past the guard on the other side. Oh, that's what's going on? Yeah. They're sitting there. I'm like, well, yeah, because you're not seeing the intricacies of the little tiny fights and battles that are going on. And then when I point them out to the people that don't understand that aspect of MMA, then now I think it turns over more fans, makes it more enjoyable. They can understand and see what's happening, and now they can see it from my eyes and see why I enjoy it so much, and then it becomes fun again. It's like, oh, okay, so I see the battle that's going on, because otherwise you just see two guys maybe just laying there, another guy on top of another guy. Well, what are they doing? I'm like, oh, this is what they're doing.
And the
I was just going to say, it's funny you say that, because at EBI yesterday, I don't even know if you noticed this or not, Frank, but you've been to EBI, Joey. I mean, your podcast sponsors EBI, but when it's very quiet in there, when they're grappling and everything. And so we were sitting there and we were taping. We're doing a little Fight Companion podcast, but I didn't think in advance about how quiet it was going to be in there. So, we're kind of keeping like this, keeping the voice down, right? And at first I thought, boy, I hope the people around us, are not bothered by it. But hearing Frank's commentary the whole time and really enriching the experience like that, I started looking around and people were moving closer, because they wanted to be able to hear it. It made it that much more enjoyable to hear him really breaking down what they were seeing.
Well, this was what I think happened when the UFC went from pay-per-view to Fox. I think they should have got a more informative team. Joe does his best. Joe's great at it. Sometimes absolutely. Joe doesn't show. I think that when it's on Fox, this is your chance to suck people in. If I go and I see a guy standing up against the... Listen, first time I turned UFC on, I saw fucking Tank Abbott with that suit on. Yeah. And I turned it off, and I never watched it again. Then I met Joe Rogan, and he talked to me about this shit, fucking UFC shit. Listen, I grew up with Bruce Lee, bitch. I went to the Garden all those years to see Aaron Banks' karate tournament. I saw the guy catch the bullet through the glass with the 22.
Yeah,
okay. I saw that motherfucker 4 times. You're going to show up with a bikini on like Tank Abbott? Then I turned it on again, and I saw the black guy, the guy that had the 18 black belts.
Okay.
And I'm like, are they fucking putting me on? Like, are you fucking people putting me on? Like, Joe, I wouldn't even say nothing to him. Then he started hanging out with Eddie, and they would talk, and they'd do what you and the other fucking dude did. They'd be in the hotel lobby, and all of a sudden people's foot would come off, and they'd be choking each other in the lobby and teaching each other moves, and Denny and Tate, and there'd be 9 animals. And I'd look at these guys and go, are they fucking animals? I came from a karate background. What do you want to wrestle with men for? I never even thought about it. I'm like touching people's feet. That's the most disgusting thing in the fucking world. I'll suck my wife's toe if I'm doing blow or something like that. But touching somebody's feet, you're talking about a toe hold before. I almost died over here. I almost got an anxiety attack.
That's funny. People still think that, like, oh, you want to fight a toe hold, you grab the guy's toe. I'm like, no, it's called a toe hold because we grab that aspect, the foot there. But no, I'm breaking his ankle. It's an ankle break.
No, I had just a thought.
Yeah, but people don't. Yeah, they don't understand.
Grabbing his foot.
Oh, absolutely.
And then one night I'm going through this is a true story. I'm going through the channels. I got a joint in me. My wife's cooking chicken cutlets. And I see they're talking about it the week before. How Anderson Silva is joining the UFC. I'm like, here we go. Some motherfucking idiot with a bikini on I got to put on and watch. Jesus Christ. I didn't know what to think. And I'm scrolling through the channel, and it's him against Cress Leben. And I go, here's it. I'm going to watch this. And that was it.
About a minute and a half.
My head almost blew up.
I got to see Bruce Lee all over again.
I go, here we go. All right, now we're talking. All right, now I'll start going to these fucking UFCs and shit.
It's funny talking about guys rolling around on the ground, half naked. Obviously I've heard my share of remarks made upon it. I remember one time, I was 21. I have my own apartment, living on my own now. And my mom came over, and typical kid, 21, 22 years old, fucking apartment's a mess. So mom comes over and does what moms do, puts a pot of food on the stove, starts cooking, and then as the food's cooking, she's going around my apartment cleaning and picking up, and all I really had at the time was a TV, a 36-inch TV that I bought off of my first fight against Roberto Traven, with the win money, and an Xbox, and I had my different DVDs on the floor thrown around, and one of them was the jiu-jitsu, and it showed two guys. And they were basically doing kind of like an open guard work, right? But they're in, Vale Tudo shorts. One guy's on top of one guy. He has wrist control, foot in the bicep, foot on the hip. The other guy's trying to control his knees and pass, and that's the picture of the cover. And my mom reaches down, grabs the DVD, to put it away, and then she glances at it. My mom drops it. She's like, oh, my God. And so I'm sitting there, on the couch being a lazy ass. Mom's cleaning the apartment, cooking food, I think I'm playing Halo and stuff, and I look up at her. I'm like, Mama, what's up? And I'm looking down at her like, what'd you grab? You know what I mean? Like, no pornos up in this place. You know what I mean? I knew you were coming over. I at least hid that shit, be respectable of your mother, And all of a sudden I look down and I'm looking at it. I'm looking at her, and it took me a second to catch up. I'm like, no, mom, no. These guys are fighting. They're not making love. This isn't a homosexual video. This is jiu-jitsu. Yeah. And my mom's like, what? I'm like, yeah, Mom, in the legs. This and I was like, son, and she has a karate background. I even tried to get her to come to the gym and train a couple times jiu-jitsu. After the first couple of days, she came and she goes, son, I'm sorry. I can't sit there and put a guy between my legs and get on the ground and roll with him, this is awkward for me. Maybe I'm too old for this shit, you know what I mean? Like, no. But it's funny. That's the first response. Right? Still this day, I remember the shock my mom had when she saw that cover. I'm thinking, she's like, oh, there goes any grandchildren from this one, you know what I mean?
I actually have a little secret I tell people. Whenever you're seeing you're watching an MMA fight that maybe is not particularly exciting, play this little mind trick on yourself. Pick one fighter, okay, and convince yourself that guy is trying to blow the other one, okay? Follow me. The other guy, imagine that he is doing everything within his power to fight that guy off. And if you get that narrative going in your head, it turns into a whole different fight, what you're watching.
A little too close to prison type of thing.
I don't want to watch that type of stuff. It's no, that's a great point you made, especially for when they went over to Fox. They even tried to add that football effect to it, and I'm like, oh,
that's a growing period.
I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, they're turning into communist football on Sundays.
Yeah, I think they definitely needed an opportunity.
But now I think it's smoothing down. They explain to the
people are catching up. You go to the fights now. And a guy goes and starts grabbing another guy's arm and pivoting his hips out. The crowd starts, because they know, it's an arm bar coming. Back in 2001, 2002, and I'm in the UFC, you would have a guy throw another guy in a triangle, and I swear 90% of the crowd had no idea what was going on. You see people tapping, and guys starting looking around left and right. They're like, that guy had his legs around his neck. Well, why did he tap? What happened? What's going on? I'm like, it's a choke, man. But people didn't know, and
even the announcers, if you remember, things would happen sometimes in those fights.
Yeah, when Jim Brown
the announcers would be like, hold on a second, and there was confusion when there was a submission, trying to dissect what happened.
Yeah, and that's why when we went to Fox, I wish there'd have been a little bit more starting over again and breaking down, like, okay, this is the guard, and maybe even having like a
section,
a 15-minute instruction. Okay, guys, this is side control. This is the guard. This is the mount. This is what we can go.
Hit red on round ball on YouTube, real quickly. Wake up out of your fucking coma over there. Look at you. You're out to lunch. You're over there falling asleep. Your eyes are red. You look like you're fucking. When I was a kid, basketball came on CBS. This is 1977. Everybody knew who basketball was. You just watched Julius Erving for the last fucking 10 years sizzle the ABA. Everybody knew who basketball was. But at halftime, they showed this every fucking game. How many games they show on Sundays on the NBA? 2. Sometimes fucking 3. They would show all brand new. You know, they don't want to do this no more. And I don't, why don't they do this for each fucking fight?
Which video do you want to watch?
I don't know. Pistol Pete Maravich. How's that? He had everybody on there. For years, he would do this stupid shit. That's it. On passing. How's that? Look at that. Passing for fucking retards, okay? Look. This is called passing the guard. This is when...
This is Pete Maravich, the greatest playmaker and passer in the game today. Passing to Henry Bibby, also playing
another fucking savage.
Jazz. Notice the fingers.
Look at it. He breaks it down to the fucking finger, Frank, man.
Arm, finger spread, follow through. Just on a simple chest pass. Now, Pete, in throwing that pass, do you really think about that when you do it, or does it become automatic?
Well, actually, it becomes automatic, but the 3 basic ingredients in throwing any type of pass is fingertip control, backspin, and follow through.
All right, now demonstrate the other few fundamental passes.
All right, the 4 basic are the chest pass and the chest bounce pass. You can throw it 2 ways, either backspin or forward spin, like this.
Well, what is your major when you throw that bounce pass? Isn't it to get it right here?
Try to get it right to the man's waist where he can handle it quite easily.
That's the key. Too many people throw bounce passes.
My point being, he could kill this. How basic is this?
Yeah, but that's awesome.
This is half. In between.
Guess what? Now, if I was watching this when the halftime breaks on in the second period, I'm going to be watching for that. Now I'm going to be like, oh, that was a good pass. That was a bad pass. I didn't play basketball. I don't know that. But guess what? I got more informed, and I'm going to be more entertained, and I'm knowing what I'm looking at. I'm watching for stuff. I'm more vested in what I'm seeing because I have an understanding.
So they would show this during NBA games?
Yeah, halftime. That was it, halftime. Red arm round ball. Who? I mean, he taught everything on there.
I think too, from a commentary standpoint, that's why people don't give, for example, Mike Goldberg enough credit when they talk about the dynamic between him and Joe, because you got to remember, new viewers are coming to this all the time.
Yep.
And if it gets too advanced, yeah, it's great for the people who've been watching it for a long time. But how are you going to speak to the person that's tuning in for the first time?
Yeah, you have to speak it to the people that are the first time viewers.
You need a knowledgeable guy, a guy to tame it. Listen. It's like the Celtics. They always had 4 black guys and 1 white guy to tame them down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's
same philosophy. Same thing.
On that note,
same fucking thing. You got to have a guy taming everybody down, but you got to have a knowledgeable guy explaining it. You got to have this. You know how fucking much I would watch the UFC if at the beginning they'd say, in today's edition, we're going to have Frank Mir teach you how to break a fucking arm. Yeah. And you would come out with your little fucking gi on and you break somebody's arm. Next week, George St. Pierre. That'll hold me there.
Yeah.
At least how to pass the guard, in MMA. That's for little kids. That's for everybody to learn. Housewives. It's knowledge. Knowledge is power. Ayakoka, Lee. What is it?
Well, I liked Daniel Cormier commentating the last fight. So, look, maybe they could have them throw out the entire fight and, commentate. And then during the breaks or something, I don't know, teach a move or have
or even have one of the rooms in the back, a green room. We can sit there and go, okay, what you just saw was this. I can grab, me and Richard there. I grab Rich, put him on the ground, go, okay. When the guy passed over the top, when back in the day, Matt Hughes, right? All of a sudden, he's fighting George St. Pierre in the first fight. He arm bars him off of a Kimura reversal, right? A lot of people watching, they don't even know, what did I just see? Matt Hughes was on top. He reached over for George reached over for Kimura. Matt Hughes stepped over the head to block off the body, transitioned across the rib cage, stepped down, and he was able to counter into an arm bar. A lot of people saw that and oh, he won, but I don't think they really even got. There's a lot of people that watched that didn't realize what the counter that they just saw, that a guy went for a Kimura and the other guy stepped over the side control and went for the arm bar. But having that explained to people afterwards, I think a lot of people, somebody like my mom would be like, oh, wow, that's awesome. My wife does it to me. Sometimes I can't even put fights on at the house because she'll sit down next to me. I mean, not so much. She can sit there and explain to most people what she's seeing. But sit there and understand it. She'd be like, Frank, start talking. Tell me what they're doing. I'm like, all right, well, the other guy's in half guard, but he's purposely not passing because he's keeping control of his legs, and so that way he can establish position on top, and this is what he's looking for. And the other guy, well, what does the other guy do? Well, right now he's trying to either get his knee back through, or he's trying to drive the other guy's knee up so he can either work for a sweep or for a get up, and this is the battle that's occurring right there. And then she'll look back over. It's two guys, one in half guard, one on top, one on bottom, and now it's entertaining to her again because now she understands, oh, okay, I see what this guy's objective is, and I see what that guy's objective is, and what they're battling for right now. And now I'm back. I'm interested in it again. Before, I'm like, if I'm just seeing two guys do something, what's the point of watching if you don't even see if you don't even know what you're watching?
No, it makes it a lot more interesting, especially when it's such a growing sport. When it's on NFL, when I'm paying $50, I know what I'm fucking getting. But when I'm watching it on NFL, it's because something else ain't on. And I'm sitting there and I'm fucking broke. I don't get paid till the 20th. And all of a sudden, the UFC's got a free show from 6 to 8. My friend at work won't shut the fuck up about this. My friend at work won't shut the fuck up. He even got the shorts at work. He won't shut the fuck up about it. So you watching it one night, you cook a steak, and you sit there and watch it. What happens if a grappler fights a striker and he puts him against the fence, and they're sitting there for 2 minutes, and all of a sudden the guy at home hears the boos from the jerk-offs in the audience that don't really know what's going on? That right there. I had it on for 10 minutes. I can't watch that shit. Guy had him against the fucking wall. I didn't know what was going on. They want kicks, they want punches, they want Frank Mir breaking fucking bones,
The highlights of it, that exciting part, it's easy for people to understand. But then you get a guy, Daniel Cormier, shoves a guy against the cage. I'm like, well, what they're fighting for now is hip control. Daniel's trying to get that left underhook underneath. He's fighting down. The other guy realizes he's doing it, so he's trying to keep his rib cage protected, keep the elbow down and block. But now Daniel's throwing a punch up to his head, so now that guy now goes to block the punch, but now exposes his ribs. Daniel now is able to go ahead and lock up the underhook, and now he transitions off to his high crotch on the other side on the left leg, keeps his ear posted in, and then now he's going for the back. The guy's fighting back, but now his weight comes up too high. Now he dumps him and throws him over through the air. It's like, oh, that was what's going on? Yeah, I just thought I saw two guys hugged up against the cage. I'm like, no, that's what was happening.
And what about Money Mouse? Because previous to this fight, his last two fights, he won, but they weren't very exciting. So it was like the kind of card where you were kind of disappointed if you bought them. Because they're expensive. They're $50, $60, but that's a lot of money.
Yeah, that's sad because he is pound for pound one of the best fighters in the world, and everything he does, it's a science. You're watching him move. He's up there with Dominic Cruz, up there with some of the great, Frankie Edgar, some of the greatest fighters in the world, Sometimes the guys are watching him, they sit there and go, that guy Frankie, he's just dancing around. I'm like, no, he's not. He's hitting angles. He's moving out. He's trying to get you to put your weight forward so you can hit off the side. He's going to go for a strike. If you block and move your weight back too much, now you expose the leg. He does that post leg snatch where he grabs the lead leg and shoves you down. And then if you go ahead and defend that after the first time, now he has you set up that you're always seeing that read, that you think that maybe a takedown's coming. And now when you go ahead and go there and you step there and you get heavy on the leg, boom, now he smashes down with a kick. All that off of different reads and setups and what's going on. Like, oh, I thought I was just seeing a guy dancing around. I'm like, no, that's what's happening. You see, Dominic Cruz, another one. If you don't know the science of what's going on, you sit there, you're like, I just see a guy with like some crazy footwork moving around. I'm like, no, he's staying on a figure eight. He's moving on the outside of it. He's constantly out of his opponent's power range. And so now he's setting up. He's trying to get you to throw a punch so you can be a little bit off weight. He's going to have his feet set on the outside or on the inside. Depends on what technique he employed when you came in. And now he has options A, B, and C. But if you don't see that, you just see a guy who's bobbing his head, moving around and throwing a punch. I'm like, nah, man, there's so much science going on that if you don't understand what's going on, it takes away from the enjoyment. So bringing it back and having that explained and broken down to people, man, just, that's why I'm so passionate. That's why anybody that actually understands what's going on, I've never met a person I brought into a gym and started showing them how submissions work, how footwork on their feet work, how throwing a jab isn't just your lead hand flying out. The intricacies behind pushing your hips, pushing off the back leg. Well, why is that guy's jab better than that guy? Well, this guy, he's just stepping and kind of pulling his weight. The other guy's pushing off the back foot, driving, turning his hips, turning his shoulders, adding 3 or 4 inches to his reach, putting leverage behind his shot. That's what he's doing with his jab. The other guy now is cocking off the side, loading his rear leg, looking for the overhand shot. Oh, he's just swinging a haymaker. No, he's not. not. Even Roy Nelson's overhand right, there's science behind it. Oh, he's locking his feet, posting weight on the back leg, and then when he throws the punch, he's actually aiming more for the back of the ear so he can hit off your equilibrium. And that way, if you pull away from it, he still has a chin shot. You duck in, you're going to get hit behind the head. Both are going to be shots that are going to be pretty detrimental, but there's a science in what he's setting up. You know, and so all the fights, they're that way. They're not just two guys just going at it. You know, they're moving fast. But when you break down the science of what two guys are going down and doing, how do you not fall in love with it? I've never had anybody that give me 5 minutes of your time, sit on a mat with me, and let me explain to you what's going on. You might not want to join up and join a gym. You might have injuries, might not have the time, but you're going to fall in love with it the way I fell in love with it, and the way we all here fall in love with it. Just like you said, you sit there, you first watch guys on the mat, you're like, oh, these two fucking guys doing, you know? You sit there and hang out with an Eddie Bravo, a guy who's a genius at grappling on the ground. He starts, why is that guy grabbing his foot? What the hell is he doing? It's like, oh, no, this is rubber guard. He's using that as a handle. You know, he's pushing the guy down, posting through. And now if you don't keep your elbow down, he's going to slide through, you know, zombie rising up, grabbing an overhook. Now you're set up for an omoplata. He can push it through, post up for a triangle, go ahead and go for a sweep, or maybe he pulls up the other foot and goes in for crackhead control and really just weighs down on the back of the head, pulls down, takes wind from you, setting up the next position. So now his hips are free to flip over on the side and attack that other arm. Man, how do people not get into that? If you like combat, you like sports, now you get an understanding of what these guys are doing. Everybody loves that. I mean, why do you think football, you name it, sports, people love to watch, but people like to understand it. You know, I mean, look at baseball. We break that down in numbers, you know, the different pitches, guys are explaining it. People are knowing, like, why is this guy doing this? Well, you got a guy on first. So if this guy throws a fastball, even if the guy swings at it, you know, he's going to make sure that the guy on first can't steal second. He can't throw a changeup right now. You know, the way the count is right now, if he throws a changeup, that ball's going to be going too slow. They can't send their guy from first to second to steal because the catcher's going to have now half a second more to throw down to second and get him out. You know, and it's like, whoa, that's what's going on. Yeah, I just thought it was a guy stealing to second. No, man, there is so much strategy going on, but people, you know, need to understand what that is, or it's not exciting.
Well, and that's the reward of any fan investigating and educating themselves about their passion. Like, I think that's why cooking shows are popular. You know, if I make something for you, I give it to you. You can tell me if it tastes good or bad. But if you understand the culinary aspects of it, the ingredients that went into it, you're going to have a greater appreciation for what I put together for you. That's why I started training jiu-jitsu, because just working in MMA media, I wanted to be able to have a better comprehension of what I was seeing to translate, right? That's how it started.
I was going to kickboxing, and I was like, you know what? I've been doing this for 30 years. A new jiu-jitsu school to open over there. Mm-hmm. The first time I went in, I thought my head was going to explode. Like, I thought I was really going to die. And then I would go over there like, just, Jesus, this is a fucking nightmare. And then I started understanding. I go, you know what, man? The more I come in here, the stronger I'm going to get. I don't have to be Johnny Jiu-Jitsu. You just keep showing up here, and you're going to get little every this day. Is as tough as it fucking gets. This is as tough as it gets. You know, and you mix it up with some kettlebells, and you walk, and you lose weight. And I love it. I love it. Can I announce what you guys do? Fuck no. Fuck no. There's too many fucking movements and shit. My mind don't catch that stuff that quick. That's why I say that you're really fucking good at it.
Thanks, man.
Because I tried to do it one time and I was like, no. This is... I know a kick to the head or points to the groin.
Well, if you train it long enough, you get it too.
You
know
get
what I mean?
it. Yeah,
all it is, it takes reps. You know, I've been in a gym for so many thousands of hours that when I see a guy grab a wrist and move, there's only so many things that most likely he's going to do that are highly effective. So I can sit there, and that's why, you know, when I've commentated WEC fights, you know, back in the day when the WEC was still a thing.
People loved it.
Right, but
People fucking
I can
loved
sit there
it.
and go, oh, you know, I remember one time, you know, we're sitting there going, man, is this live? Because you're calling moves out before you see them. I'm like, well, no, I just train long enough and I can speak fast enough that I see what's about to happen. I can see the ebbs and flows of what each guy is going for. I can sit there, oh, here comes the right hand. The guy threw a right hand. How did you know that was about to come? I'm like, oh, because 2 moves before, the guy did this. I read what the guy did to counter it. I'm sure the other guy, as a trained martial artist, read what the other guy was going to do to counter it. And now they're playing a game back and forth. It's like, you know, they're trying to set each other up and move.
It's a good podcast, man. I'm happy you came on.
No, man, I'm happy too. It's awesome.
I'm happy. This is fucking... I know you guys got to
do
get
this
out
again,
of
man.
No,
next time you're in Vegas, do our podcast.
No, I went on the
yeah.
one time. I went on. You were training in Brazil.
Yeah, it was the week you were actually out, and I take.
I was down there in Brazil.
Yeah.
São Paulo time.
Let me get this shit out of the way. We'll get you the hell out of here.
You coming back to Vegas anytime, Joey? Anytime
I'm
soon?
going there July 9th, I think.
Oh, that's International Fight Week.
Yeah, I'm doing the whole thing for a few
200.
days.
UFC
Open
200.
up for Joe?
Yeah, Friday night. I'm opening
perfect.
up for Joe.
I got to sit there and watch one of his stand-ups, and went hidden rafters up top, and got to watch, man. Great stuff, man. You both, you came out there, you opened.
Oh, no.
I loved it, man. And then Rogan came out there. And
Just a couple of weeks ago?
No, it's been probably about 2 years when I watched one of his stand-ups come out there. I was laughing because one of the things I completely related to, I laughed my ass off to the point where, I think some of the people were laughing, but I laughed like, a couple of guys around me are looking over like, was it that funny what he said? I'm like, no, you don't understand how funny that is. When, you sit there and he was talking about how, what is up with fighters? When a fan goes up to a fighter and wants to take a picture, everybody wants to put their hands up, put the knuckles, and he goes, you sit there, you take a picture with Tiger Woods, you're not going to sit there and ask him, hey, can I pretend I'm doing a golf swing?
It's crazy. It really is.
Yeah, and I was laughing because that happens all the time. I go and take pictures with people. They lift their hand up. I'll lift my hand up too. Whatever the fan wants. You know what I mean? It's their moment. Their picture. However they want it to go. But the whole. Let's hold up our fists. You know what I mean? And
the other night in Buffalo, some guy was driving me crazy. I almost fucking stabbed him. There's a line. It's Friday night. There's another show. We take the picture. He goes, no. I want to take one with my hand up. All right. He took it. He looked at it. Let me take another one. By the third one, I go, you got to go, dog.
Yeah.
Enough with the fucking... You sell flowers for a living. All of a sudden, you want to put your fucking hand up. Leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah, they want to square off with you.
Oh, it fucking kills me. Anyway, why fuck around, all right? Listen, we all read magazines. We all, we try to keep up on magazines, but it's tough because you don't know what you're looking for anymore. Half the time... Listen, thanks to pizza, we're all binge eating. Thanks to Netflix, we're all binge watching. But now with Texture, you can start binge reading. Trust me, it's about to be a thing. When it comes to magazines, you know what you like. And with Texture, you can get all the magazines you want in one super convenient place. Texture has completely reimagined magazines, giving you reimagined, what am I thinking? Reimage magazines, giving you the articles and stories you really want all in one place. Place interactive features, videos, and recommendations just for you. The Texture app lets you tap into the world's most popular magazines anytime, anywhere, using your smartphone or your tablet. You breeze through the hundreds of your favorite magazines, including back issues, and they pick the articles that interest you the most. Texture has made it easy to find articles you care about. Listen, I don't just read. You follow me, what's that? Rolling Stone. I just don't read,
ESPN Magazine.
ESPN Magazine. The Texture editorial team recommends content for me every day. Plus, I can dive deeper into the personalized collections. Sign up for Texture right now and get insider access to all the content from the world's best publications. Especially if you travel, you want to be on top of this, you can download it all to your tablet or your iPhone. The best part is Texture's offering my listeners a free trial right now when you go to texture.com/Joey. You'll gain immediate entry into all the top magazines, including back issues and bonus video content. Start binge reading for free right now when you go to texture.com/Joey. Texture.com/Joey. The Texture app is entirely digital, so it's super environmentally friendly way to consume the best magazines and articles. Again, right now for free. Texture.com/Joey. Frank Meehan, you should try this. You fly out, you know what I'm saying?
I'm on the road a lot, man.
You're a fucking savage. All right, this is a product here that I just started seeing the commercials, and I went online and read, and I dig it. I love all this shit because I like sleeping. I got sleep apnea. I like being comfortable. Some hotels, I can't fucking sleep. You're unique. You don't walk like everybody. You don't talk like everybody. You don't sleep like everybody. So why is every mattress the same? Because custom mattresses will cost you $5,000 to $10,000 until now. Introducing Helix Sleep, where all you can buy mattress online, customized for you for hundreds of dollars instead of thousands. Go to helix.com/ what is it, Lee? Go to helixsleep.com, answer a few simple questions based on 4 key preferences, and the result will be the custom sleep profile used to build your most comfortable mattress you'll ever sleep on. Your mattress will arrive at your door in about a week, and shipping is 100% free. And for couples, Helix customizes each side of the mattress. Helix customers report 30% improvement in overall sleep. So you have 100 nights to try it out, and if you don't love it, they'll pick it up for free and give you 100% refund, no questions asked. That's why everyone from GQ to Forbes all talking about Helix Sleep. Go to helixsleep.com/Joey and get 50% off, $50 off your order. That's Helix. Go to helix.com/Joey and get $50 off your order. That's helix.com/Joey, Joey. helixsleep.com/Joey. I want to thank my main man, Frank Meehan, and Johnny fucking Black over here, who I love to death, always fucking bringing me him. You still talk to the porno crazy guy? He's in town.
Oh, Dennis Hoff?
He's in town.
Oh, yeah.
He's in town. He was eating sushi out of some Japanese chick's asshole. Him and Spider Ron. What's his name?
Ron Jeremy?
Ron Jeremy.
Oh, yeah.
Ron Jeremy was eating some chick's fucking pussy. But remember, tune in to Phone Booth Fighting. New episodes every week. And read the Instagram there.
Oh, yeah. Our Instagram is at Phone Booth Fighting. Yep.
Right.
Website's phoneboothfighting.com. New episodes every week, including, as this one airs, a new one posted today.
You're fucking
We'll be talking
beautiful.
about all this.
All right. Stay black. Frank Meehan. Who's better than you?
Thanks, man.
Nobody.
Awesome being here.
Thanks for having us, Joey. We really appreciate it, man.
Lee Syatt, what's your deal? Look at you like fucking Zombieville.
I'm doing good, man.
How many potato balls you gonna eat now?
I'm gonna take all of them home.
Fuck yeah. All right. That's
There's
why I
any
love him.
leftovers.
Frank Meehan didn't eat none. He's a vegetarian.
Nah, man. Nah, I'm
What's
gonna
the
eat something. I got
problem?
a 3 or 4 hour trip back to Vegas.
He's in tip-top
I
shape.
got my dinner.
I love you guys. We'll see you Wednesday night. Stay black. Thank you for tuning into the Church of What's Happening Now. Yo, don't forget I'm in Indianapolis this weekend. That's right. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, Indianapolis. 2 weeks from now, I'm in fucking Sacramento at the Punchline. There you go.
If you are a girl who is into jiu-jitsu, I do a podcast called Mad Therapy with two jiu-jitsu girls. It's very fun.